Hey guys, Keith Keller, Melbourne, Australia. And let me put my picture up. So, what we're doing today is we're giving you a bit of a decoder on Restream and its brand new features. It has these amazing features where you can actually add your thumbnail and Restream will pick up a color from that thumbnail and create a background. It looks very visually pleasing. I'm going to walk you through all of the choices with all of the visuals. It's an extremely exciting technology. You can, of course, if you want to, on your show, have your video on. I choose not to for a couple of reasons. One is our internet's so slow, it doesn't support video streaming, unfortunately. Not so exciting for me, but I have to run with the environment I'm in. And also, I want to talk to all of the people that don't want to have their camera on. I want to actually be an advocate for those people. Some people don't want to talk on camera. So I want people to come on the show and feel free to talk without having to put their video on. I'm going to give you a couple of choices in regards to what we're doing today. This is the big graphic that I created on Microsoft Designer, just to give you an indication that I do audio-only shows. If you do indeed have any questions, you can ask those in the chat on LinkedIn. Restream does allow you to send this file to about 3 or 4 different places, and we will start researching where those comments come in. But mostly the comments are on LinkedIn, so please add your comments there. And I can see that some people are already listening in from Germany. And Chris is here on the show, and we're having a lot of fun. Hello, Cynthia. So you can see here that I can actually now talk to everyone who's on the call, and I'm pushing buttons and I'm talking at the same time. I'm surprising myself. So that's fine. LinkedIn is a very, very, very good place to start when you want to do your show. And please, I can see there's quite a few people here. When I get the show started, I'll send you the link and you can come into the studio. I'll tell you about that in a minute. We have a very good community on Discord, virtuallyunlimitedaudio.com, 260 members on LinkedIn. We do shows there very regularly. And most importantly, I've found a way to link Discord with Restream. So if you prefer to hang out on Discord, please do that, and I'll get those comments as well. Very cool. I am going to start experimenting with Blue Sky as well. The reason I'm giving you all these options is because you've got to have a spare. I talk a lot about Plan B. You've got to have a Plan B. Restream doesn't go to Blue Sky yet, but I think it will, and I'm getting ready for that. I think it's a goer. We'll have a bit of a chat about that in a minute. I do have 3 shows a week, so I'm just giving you the setup before we introduce the guests. I do have 3 shows a week, and you can find out how to do that on whereiskeithtoday.com. This is Monday in the US, and so for fun, I've started a little URL, Buy Me a Coffee Monday. It's a little piece of tech on the internet where if you're enjoying the show, you can buy me a coffee, and that goes towards upgrading my tech, which is not desperately required for my happiness, but I do love tech. And I do love buying gadgets. And I've got to fund that somehow. What I'm going to do a bit later in the show is I'm going to work you through how Restream works. And I'll save that for a little bit of the show. This is a camera-only environment, or camera-off environment. So if you want to come on the show, I really do encourage you to add your thumbnail, and I'll bring you up on stage. And it'll look somewhat similar to this. And to show you exactly what's happening right now, we have 2 people already in the audience. So we've got 2 Chris's, or who I think know each other. And so Chris P and Chris V, why don't you come in and talk about what you're doing? Chris, tell us how you are going to use Go Brunch. It's a pretty cool site. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, Richard and I just had a conversation about it a little while ago, actually, and I'm going to be using it for a whole lot of different things. My favorite part about Go Brunch is not only can it be sort of a studio presentation thing just like this, but it's got this more, how would I call it, casual, less pressure on you feel, where, if you want to get offline, you're not worried about, some of your coworkers from LinkedIn seeing necessarily what you're doing on an offline forum. It's a great spot to go. That's not super public, where you can, have people in a general room, and then there's some other rooms you could lock people in if you want to, not lock them in, you know what I mean? But you can open up and you need a password to get in. So if you wanted to teach a course or share some private information, so basically, I think I'm going to build out like almost like a full virtual office in there with like a boardroom and my chill little area to hang out, and a social place for my followers to come follow. So that's how I'm going to use it, and then a great place to share a screen and do some tutorials when I start teaching down the road.
Yeah, look, I would really encourage you, Chris, to start thinking about running your own show. You've got a message, you've got lots to say, and I would really like to see that. I'd like to see you running your own shows. I'll talk a bit about how Go Brunch works in a minute, because it's a very good site. It's quite easy to use relatively. I do encourage that if you are and indeed trying to run a show, you probably do need a co-host, and I'm probably a glutton for punishment there because I run everything on my own. But because I live in Australia, the hours are so difficult that a lot of people can't come to my shows because it's the middle of the night for them. But what about you, Chris V? Just jump in and tell us what you think of Restream. You've probably seen it for the first time yesterday. What do you think of it, and how does it sort of fit into your lifestyle, do you think? Oh, sorry, you got you there?
It
There
has a
we go.
lot of good uh, similarities to like Zoom and Teams. So, I mean, I can use it with the same use cases like Zoom or Teams, where you have a few people and you need to segregate them out into different rooms and have them collaborate amongst themselves in like a smaller, more intimate environment. Then bring them all back together again to do readouts and things to a wider audience. So that's what struck me almost immediately when I started looking at its capabilities. So I'm going to see if I can parlay that into a future webinars that I may want to host on the sites.
Yeah, well, with that in mind, and just society can only exist if it sticks together. I totally agree with you there, man. That's just so true in the current context. What I'm going to do is I'll just work you through exactly how Restream works, and you're seeing a little bit of it here play out. But I'm gonna go a bit deeper. So Restream basically has three options. And William's loving that comment there. It has a very, very, very robust free feature. So with the free feature, you can have up to 6 people on stage at the same time. You can stream to 2 places, but you don't get the recording. Right? You don't get the recording. That's one of the paid features. Very cool. 6 people on stage, streams at 720p. You can stream it to 2 places at once. I did that for a while, and I decided myself that I'm going to upgrade to the paid version, which is $19. And I found out yesterday that's $30 Australian, just in case you think that the world is an equitable place. It's, our dollar is so bad that it's almost, it's 150%. So $19 American is $30 Australian. We have compensations though, because we live near the beach and we're pretty friendly people, but our dollar's not going that well. So the streaming on $19 a month means that I can send it to 3 places. I can have 10 people on stage. I get the recordings of up to 6 hours per stream, and that might sound ridiculous, but my show yesterday went for 4 hours. And most importantly, there's this feature called pairing, which means that your guests, when it works, can send their file to their people. Now, you can send it to LinkedIn, to Facebook, to YouTube, to Twitch, to Twitter or X. You can send it to TikTok. You can send it to Instagram. There's actually 30 different locations you can send it to, one of which is not Blue Sky yet, but it's coming. So that's very cool. And then once you've done that, you can do a video show if you want, like everyone else is used to doing, like Zoom or Riverside or all these other sites. You can do all of that. But I've decided I want to do these camera off shows. And that's going to be my brand. That's going to be my style from now on. So let me work you through what that looks like. when you do it. So you can do it this way, and the person who's speaking fills the frame, and then I can manually move people over to when anyone else speaks. This is the standard view with the person speaking, and then the others on the side. I've, with the pro version, got the ability to change the angle there. I'm just doing a complete sort of decoder on Restream if you want to try it. I don't work for this company. I have nothing to gain. I just love it. That's the first one. The second one looks like this, which is a standard sort of box format. I can move around. I can move people around and do that sort of thing. One thing that happens here that I love is that I can add circles, and this in a way replicates the LinkedIn audio event process. This looks specifically good with doubles and triples. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 6, 9 looks really, really good. Really, really good. And so that's simply a click of a button. I just click on that and get the how do I do it? I've got to work out how to do it again. I can make them square, I can make them rectangles, and I can make them circles. Now the functionality here is off the charts. We have this feature where a person speaking is in the middle, and then there's two people on the side. Now I got complete functionality of how to move that around. That's pretty cool. This one is a variation on a theme. The main person speaking there, I can, I think, align to do the other alignment. I can, yes, I can do that. So this is just all me flicking buttons in the background. I'm running the studio and talking at the same time. I'm quite proud of myself. I usually can't do this stuff. This is the one I particularly like. The one person speaking fills the frame, and then the people are talking up to 10 people along the side. This looks very good if you've got quite a full room. And this one is also particularly good. Main person speaking, and then people on the side, and you can do the alignment, I think, on this one as well. No, you can't. That person only has to speak on that side. So you've got this complete alignment and visually very pleasing. And I would even argue probably even more visually pleasing than when you've got your camera on. That in itself is an interesting discussion. What do you think, Chris V? Do you like the idea of all these visuals? It's got a lot of potential, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the visuals help the audience, stay engaged and stay with you as you go through your presentation. I totally agree.
Yeah. And Chris, I'd love to pick your brains here. I would love to see you doing a show like this. If you did a show like this, what would it look like and what would it be about?
Yeah, so I mean, I did a test run for mine about a week or two ago. It's called Global Pulse Social Audio, and I plan on doing that live every Friday at 6 from here on out. And what I'm going to be doing is sort of like just like you, a little panel style show where, we have guests up from the audience and we stick on topic and talk about the things that we're going to do. And I just want to do an hour of, some of the top 5 trending things for the week, whether it has to do with the newsletter I'm writing, whether it has to do with some tech going on in the world, some whatever interesting things I happen to find and that I'm reading about that week. I'm just going to put out a list of 5 topics, try to put out a poll every week of what the audience actually wants to talk about, and then have the audience come in and tune in and have like a real time with Bill Maher type chat, and come in and try to keep everybody to 2 to 3 minutes per share, just so the flow stays optimal for a show. Keep basically end it in about an hour, and then cut that into future clips for reuse and other content.
Let's pick up on that. Actually, let's pick up on this idea. I do very long shows because I love doing this long form have a chat. Have a chat. That's I might actually coin that phrase. Hashtag have a chat. I just love these have a chat shows. But you're going to go a bit deeper than this, and you're actually going to create snippets. How are you doing that? And have you worked out a solution to this? Because a lot of people are asking me.
I haven't worked out the solution just yet. I started doing some research last night while I was writing the article. I got 5 or 6 different AI tools I'm going to take a look into. I have the names written down somewhere, but here's what I'm going to do. You got a show tomorrow night on Discord. So I think what I'm going to do is do some homework tomorrow during the day, so we have some real fun topics to bring everybody to the show tomorrow to figure out how we're going to get these YouTube shorts and these Vimeo clips, and these new LinkedIn shorts that everybody's going so crazy about. I spoke to Morgan Hammer at LinkedIn. She's the won the 2024 Namer Award, and she said these 90-second videos are really what's crushing it. It's what's helping people grow. So I'm going to try to focus on that, give LinkedIn what it wants and the audience.
Let's have this chat. Given that, and let's pick up on what we're doing here. This show is actually going to LinkedIn, so let's start there. We can send it to Facebook, and we can send it to Instagram, and we can send it to Twitch, and we can have those discussions too. But at the moment, we're sending this file to LinkedIn. So let's give LinkedIn what it wants. You're saying, Chris, this is a very good discussion. You're saying that LinkedIn wants the clips to be 90 seconds. So we need, and we're going to do this tomorrow on our Discord show. We have a Discord community. We're actually going to talk about AI tools. And AI is, this is probably the fundamental reason you would use AI. Video editing, if you don't know, is extremely time consuming, especially if your internet is slow. It's like it takes all day and it's not very much fun. It's just not fun. But AI can cut the snippets up and give you a bit of a head start. And we are going to really pull this apart tomorrow, but we can do it right now too. Chris V, what do you think you might do if you did a show, or do you particularly just want to come and listen to shows here now?
Yeah, eventually I want to evolve to doing my own show. I think when I do that, I'm going to take in, AI as it impacts different industries. Like I came from the telecommunications industry, and I'm also wondering about what the telecom industry is going to do with AI going forward. You hear big things about 5G and 6G. 5G's out there. With the telecom industry, AI and quantum computing are going to be big factors when they do roll out 6G. 6G is going to come out maybe about 3, 4, 5 years from now. So it'll be interesting to see how the industry itself adopts some of these technologies and how it's going to benefit consumers and enterprises. So I'm
Yeah,
probably
and
going to explore those topics, and see if there's an interest out there with the audience, and to kind of pull them along and see what they want to see with on the horizon as the phones or other devices are going to evolve themselves over the next few years. Be an
and
interesting journey.
at the moment, what is your mechanism for getting your thoughts out and or consuming other people's thoughts? Are you a blogger? Are you a podcaster? Are you a video creator? How do you get the word out? Or you're really in consumption mode at the moment?
I like to talk and I like to write. So I do have a blog out there. I try to publish at least once on LinkedIn and Medium. So if you Google my name, you'll see a bunch of posts out on Medium. And you also see that on LinkedIn too. I try to keep them mirrored as much as possible to hit different audiences. But in a nutshell, I like to talk and I like to write. I'm not a big video person for reasons that you stated, Keith. It's time consuming to kind of get that curated, the videos curated to what you want to see. And I think just having a radio type format, I think, is really cool.
Yeah.
It's very old school, but it also gets that message out very effectively. So it resonates with me.
One of the things, I don't know, were you a fan of the LinkedIn audio events? Did you ever take part in those? Did you know? Do you know what I mean by that?
No, that's a new thing. I imagine it's an evolution. Video is an evolution on audio, right? TV is an evolution on radio. So I never really participated in an audio only stream on LinkedIn, though. I'm fascinated by it. So,
Well, it's gone. Like you missed it.
oh, okay. Bummer.
So in January 2023, this is a very, very important discussion. In January 2022, LinkedIn came out with its own version of Clubhouse, which was loosely based on a site that was invented in 2006 called Blog Talk Radio. And you could call in on your phone and have a chat with famous people.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like in 2020, it was amazing. And then in 2022, LinkedIn decided they wanted to do this too. And it looked like this. There was little people in circles and they were all talking. On LinkedIn audio, you could have 16 people on stage at one time. And the panels were amazing, like off the charts amazing. But the technology was a little bit clumsy and it didn't work that well and it kept failing and they killed it in December last year. It went for less than 3 years. They just killed it. And we're all very, very, very unhappy about that. So this format, for me, picks up on what you just said. I don't particularly want to put my camera on. I'm not a bad looking bloke, but I just can't be bothered shaving and getting a light and a webcam and setting up the sound and cleaning my desk. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to talk. My wisdom is not diminished because you can't see me. I'm still the same person, right? So I'm just going to go to market with what I call my camera off strategy. This is my story. I'm going to go to market with this, and it won't suit everyone because some people love putting their camera on, and some people want to see me, and that's great. I am a real person, and this is quite a good replica of me. But LinkedIn audio went away, and now we've got this, and this is a very, very good simulation with what we've got, and what I'm calling it podcasting with pictures, because you listen to a podcast, say, if you do, and you can't see the person, and you're walking your dog or you're riding your bike or you're driving your car, and you can hear the person, and you've got a sort of a mental picture of what that person looks like and what they're talking about. So this is the next step. It's the evolution of podcasting, in my opinion. We can actually say, look, if you want to join us on Discord, you can. And here's the link, and it's right there on the screen. And for those people listening in, it's virtuallyunlimitedaudio.com. Right? So it's the evolution of podcasting. Right? I've been podcasting since 2008. So this is very exciting for me. But to your point, Chris, if you've got something to say, this could be your format. If you like to talk, yeah. What do you think? Let's see if we can get you started. Do you have a website, or would this work particularly well in concert with your blog?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's just going to be another channel for me to get my message out. Yeah, I do have my blog, blog.vitalis.us. I also am on LinkedIn, like everybody else in the planet. Chris Vitalos at LinkedIn. And you can follow me on Blue Sky too. My handle is vitalos.us on Blue Sky. So those are my channels that I normally hit up. So yeah, please follow me. Reach out and follow me on those different platforms.
Well, tell me what you think of Blue Sky. I think it's got potential. It's a bit underrated, but I would love to hear your thoughts. Tell me why you picked it. Not everyone's on it. Why do you love it?
Yeah, I initially joined Blue Sky when it was in the invite-only mode, like maybe about 18 months ago, when they were just giving out the codes. It was invite-only. They were in beta. It was a very small community at the time. And, people were just trying to test it out. It was growing. And then they opened up the floodgates, about 12 months ago. And you just see the general waves coming in based on what's going on in the social media scene. Very Twitter-like, obviously, right? It's a cliche, but it's so true. It goes back to what Twitter used to be. I had my Twitter handle since October 2006.
Yeah, man,
Right?
that's good. You beat me.
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah.
You were a Twitterholic like me, yeah?
Yeah. So when I joined Blue Sky, it immediately resonated with me. It's like, oh, this is like old Twitter, right? Now, there's a lot of cool tech underneath the hood. Like they're promising that, they can, if somehow something happens to Blue Sky and it goes hostile for whatever reason, right? You can, the marketing gimmick for Blue Sky is you can just pick up your data and move it to another Blue Sky network and put it down. Now, there's a lot of skepticism out there whether that's going to be as smooth as what they're billing. I can go on and on about the underlying tech, about what that may be, a bit of a challenge, but maybe that's for another day. But I mean, it's still, very elegantly architected underneath, and but the user interface and the user experience is a lot like Twitter, and it's just really cool. It's just a good alternative for a federated system. I mean, I also use Mastodon too. I failed to talk about that, but I'm Mastodon as well. And Mastodon's kind of clunky. It's not very user friendly. I can
Yeah.
see why people are going to Blue Sky because there's a lot of when you're on Mastodon, it assumes that you are very technically savvy, and I don't want to slam people or about not being technically savvy, but you need to know some things to be on Mastodon, and it's very peculiar in a way. It shares information with other Mastodon nodes.
Yeah. Let's pick
So
up on this idea. Is that you, Chris V? That sounds in the back.
yeah, I'm sorry about that. Let me
Yeah.
quiet that out.
That's all right.
Yeah.
While you're talking, that's okay. It's all part of the fun. But while we're talking about Blue Sky, I want to talk about the idea of a Plan B, a second system. I personally do not recommend you live on one site forever because it changes. It can be bought out by a random person who might not
Yeah.
agree with your belief system, or you might not agree with theirs, and they change it and they move it, and it turns into something else. I'm not going to mention any names or any letters of the alphabet here, but you know you've got to have a plan B. And I think Blue Sky, of all the options available, and I'm very happy to have this discussion, of all the options available, I think Blue Sky is the best alternative. It's completely neutral. It's sort of sitting there in an environment that looks very similar to what Twitter was. If you loved Twitter, you'll love Blue Sky. Is that you typing, Chris?
Oh yeah.
That's all right. It's all part of the fun. But I think we've got something really cool to talk about here. Chris P, are you using Blue Sky? Do you want to have a bit of a chat about what that might look like for you?
I just opened it back up because I haven't used it in a while, and I'm looking at a message from you. So I got to get back into Blue Sky. For me, I'm exploring so many different platforms, but to take off on your point of, having backups, I do like Blue Sky. I'm starting to figure out that in Discord a lot more in terms of their layers and their depth and how to navigate them. So they're a little more intuitive than I thought. They were just a little difficult on my eyes, but for me, it's all about having the website, because then I could tie everything to that. And if one site crashes or something else goes down, I've got Twitch, I've got LinkedIn, I've got Instagram, I've got Facebook. If something happens, I've got somewhere to go, somewhere to stream. And honestly, with Restream, I got somewhere to do something. And I don't think LinkedIn's going anywhere anytime soon. You never know, but I doubt it. So I think that we're in solid shape, but your point is stellar. Make sure you don't have your eggs tied in one basket. Look what happened to everybody on TikTok.
Yeah, well, let me pick up on why I'm very, very, very big on a backup. Separate to random letters of the alphabet, which shall remain nameless, um, I did a lot of shows on this site, which used to exist called LinkedIn Audio Events. I did 3 shows a week for 3 years. There's got to be a number there. Let's say 450 shows. So I was rocking it, and I loved it. It was a bit clumsy, I got to be honest, but I just loved it. And then one day, out of nowhere, LinkedIn sends me a message to say, "Mate, you are going so well. You must be a robot. So we're closing you down for 4 days, so you can turn off all your tech, and you can't use LinkedIn in any format for 4 days because we think you're a robot." And I said, "Well, what happened was I was halfway through a show, and there was 30 people live on air with a special guest, and we promoted it for a month ahead. And suddenly, out of nowhere, for no reason, LinkedIn closed me down in the middle of a show and locked me out for 4 days. They still haven't given me a good answer as to why they did that. And I still don't know what I did wrong. But the point is that I had no control at all over my site. No control. So during this time, I discovered 2 things. One is I got really, really powerful on Discord, and I also discovered Go Brunch, which we'll talk about in a minute. So I'm very dogged about a plan B. You may love people listening in the call. You may love LinkedIn, and you might think this is all I need. This is all I need. I love it. Everything's here in one place. Good on you. But what happens if it goes away? And what happens if it's like keys to your house? No, I don't know a single person that doesn't have a spare key. Right? What happens if you lose your key? You got nothing. You got to have a spare key, right? Do you? I mean,
Yeah,
surely, Chris, you've got a spare key, yeah, to the house.
yeah. I jump in. I know that Mastodon isn't the favorite platform for most people, but they do have a good plan B, right? I I move my Mastodon stuff from server to server, and it goes pretty well. It's a proven thing. It's not smooth, but it's proven. But Mastodon is
Ah, you've got a plan B if the
yeah,
one server fails.
yeah. I mean, if they call them instances at Mastodon, right? Well, you have an instance like I'm on currently on instance Sigmoid.social, but I was on another one before that, and I was able to export my content from my prior instance and bring it over to Sigmoid.social, and it went pretty smooth, right? It wasn't 100% smooth, but I got it from point A to point B. Now, again, like I said before, like Blue Sky has the possibility to do that, but still, I haven't. No one's really been proven. The tech hasn't been proven out yet. But
Yeah.
we see how it goes and how it evolves in the future.
Well, I mean, Mastodon is a very complex one, even more complex for me. But I would love to talk about Discord in this context. Discord is a good middle ground between something that's a bit techy. It has robust features. It's got 150 million users. 1 million of them pay $10 a month to keep the show going. They've got a million paid users pay $10 a month on a site called Nitro. And what are your thoughts about Discord as a plan B to LinkedIn and your favorite sites? What do you think,
Yeah, I
Chris?
mean, I haven't really deep dived into the Discord communities yet. I mean, I can see the potential on the surface. I'm not sure about the audio. I'm not sure about a very large audio audience. I mean, I haven't seen those use cases play out in Discord. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not. I can see it playing out like with a chat, like text-based chat. That's easy, but from what we're doing here on a Discord platform, I haven't really experienced that yet. Not to
Oh,
say that
wow.
it's
Haven't you?
no. I mean, I guess I'm on these platforms rather than Discord. I haven't had the opportunity to experience that yet, but maybe it's there. I just don't know about it.
Yeah. Discord has an unbelievable voice chat feature. It is off the charts good. Like it's the best. It's the best in show.
All right. Well, you will.
There's not a better site. There's not a single better site on the internet than Discord.
Well, you learn something new every day. So,
Yeah.
there you
So
go.
what I do every once a month now, because I was doing them every week, but it's not a very popular site. Is they have this thing called Discord stages. Right? In fact, I'm so excited about this. The guys at Restream have recently done this idea. This is what Discord looks like. This is it. I mean, I don't know if they got the idea from them, but it's almost identical. So if you're enjoying this format, you will love Discord. Just you'll love it because it's been going for like 15 years, or 7 years, 8 years, 10 years maybe. It's solid. It's been going a long time. So this is what Discord looks like. It looks like this. And you have robust features, very strong sound, an amazing chat, 150 million potential listeners. You can have 10,000 people on the call. There's no limit to the amount of people that you can have on stage. No limit. Like this is limited to 10. Discord, there's no limit. So I do a show there once a month now to just try things. Gabby, if you want to join, can you put your thumbnail on top right hand corner, and you should get some 3 dots, and we'll bring you up on stage. This is a camera off experience, and what I'm trying to do here is just showcase what it looks like to have your thumbnail on. I'd love to have you, but let's just put your thumbnail on top right hand corner. You should get 3 dots, and it'll say edit your name and adjust your avatar. And you should be able to add a thumbnail, a picture of you on the internet or somewhere else hanging out. So we'll do that. I'll just wait for you to do that before I bring you on stage. So does that pique your interest, Chris V, that we've got a voice channel feature on Discord?
Absolutely. I gotta go check that out now. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, the reason why this is important, like it's very, very important to have a plan B. Like I, if for instance, just say, and this is exactly how it happened. I'm doing this show and we're on LinkedIn and we're having a great time, and this might even happen now because I'm talking about LinkedIn in third person. You know, we're on LinkedIn and we're having a great time, and then suddenly, no, out of nowhere, I got this message, Keith, you are a robot. You've been banned for 4 days, and if you don't stop what you're doing, you're going to lose your account. And I'm thinking, what did I do? What did I do? Who are you? What did I do wrong? How can I have my account back, please? What did I? And all those people on the call were DMing me, going, "What happened? Where are you? What do we do now?" Right? And I couldn't do it. It was very embarrassing. Like it was
But doesn't
extremely.
the yeah, but doesn't Discord have like the ability for you to own your own Discord server? I mean, so you could be your
That's
so
right.
you can avoid situations like that, right? You know,
Exactly
where you
right.
okay.
Exactly right. So that's why I have a Discord community. It's very robust, 260 members. Very proud, extremely proud. It's called the Global Social Audio Community. Let's bring Gabby up. This is a great little picture of you. Can you see, Gabby, how that thumbnail really sort of infuses the background with a lovely little sort of version of the colors there? Tell us what you're doing. Well, I think you're in Washington. Is that
Yes.
Washington, D.C. or
Hello.
Washington State?
Uh, DC at the moment. I tend to travel a lot. I'm from Houston, Texas, though. And yeah, I just wanted to say hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great day.
Don't you love it? Don't you love this format?
It is pretty cool. I really like the LinkedIn services where you can have almost podcast episodes and things of that nature. But I do like this format for sure.
Well, tell us your way, the way you get. Well, first of all, what do you do? But second of all, how do you get the word out about what you do?
So I am a project slash product manager in tech, and I pretty much get the word out about what I do through LinkedIn or through in person networking events. And of course, the in person networking events turn into more people on LinkedIn, and then it has a compounding effect.
So you don't have a blog or a podcast or a video channel or a YouTube channel, or you don't get the word out sort of as content. You more meet people. You're a people person.
The content is on its way. I'm starting off in person though.
Yeah, well, okay, no worries. So tell us what you do. What's your thing, and how can we help you?
So I am a project and product manager interested in pretty much all things tech, but as of right now, I really have been focusing on VR and robotics, but then, of course, adding cybersecurity because the more we get into tech and the more our world becomes digital, I think it's important that we all know how to secure our assets as well.
Wow, wow. Now that's very powerful because Chris V is working in this field as well. Is there some synergy there, Chris? You may not know, Gabby, but you're meeting here for the first time. Isn't that cool? Does that sort of ring some bells for you with your what you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think cybersecurity cuts through multiple domains like healthcare, telecommunications. Um, you know, different domains have different expectations, different requirements, different regulations. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy a good conversation about how to secure any network, telecommunications, IT, enterprise. It'll be a good conversation to engage in for sure.
And how would you do that in the field of robotics and VR?
That's a domain I don't play in, but I'm excited to learn all about it though.
Well, let's have that discussion.
Ooh,
It's growing.
that's what I'm playing.
Well, pick up on that, Chris P. How would you play cybersecurity out and the project management of VR and jump in, Gabby? We'll have it's a bit of a conversation going on here. What do you think? What do you think, Chris P? How would you run a sort of a robotics project?
Well, I mean, I kind of already shouldn't dig too much into this. Got some NDAs to sign, but let's just go at it from 30,000 feet. basically what I do is I consult on stuff like this, and people will ask me questions of which technologies are the most useful, what to look out for, and what standards the IEEE has in place for devices like this for either for the medical field. And then there's other companies, let's just say robotic companies that I've spoken to who want to learn a lot about Edge AI, which is essentially a self-contained LLM that is not on the cloud that will tie in with computer vision and stuff like that. So you can basically just have artificial intelligence self-contained within a robot itself, and it'll know its surroundings and how to act based off its programming. So I kind of consult on stuff like that and how the application should work, what they should do. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty cool stuff, but I can't really go too into the details. It would give away some of the projects I'm working on and probably get me in trouble.
Yeah, you're probably under an NDA. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Pick up on that, Gabby. We don't know you yet, so how do people get to know you? Have you got a website? How can we share the love for you?
Sure. Honestly, I kind of treat LinkedIn as my website right now. It's just a hub of where I keep everything up to date with what I've been doing. But to go back to Chris's point, I think cybersecurity is really making way in robotics when it comes to autonomous vehicles. Like when you look at drones and things of that nature, I think the cybersecurity of it all is, of course, going to be of the utmost important as people use it for different things, and people want to make sure that their competitors and or just hackers period don't get access to data that they shouldn't have access to.
Yeah, it's an all encompassing field. I don't know anything about it. Um, does this relate to the generic discussion about AI for the entrepreneurial journey? The idea of using some tech in the cloud to get jobs done quickly, or are you more into the hardware of robotics and building cool toys?
So actually, I'm probably more AI first. I just have expanded my reach in tech from AI. Essentially, I use AI for as everything as much as I can, but I try to again think about the compliance of it all and think about the responsibility. But I think the more we use AI, the more accessible it becomes, the more fraud becomes a real threat to a lot of people and to a lot of businesses. And so that's why
Hmm.
I really started looking at the cybersecurity of it all, because I'm like, if we're going to be using this so much, then we also need to do it responsibly.
You're going to be hearing the word zero trust a lot soon.
Oh, I already do. Absolutely zero trust.
Yeah, this is very, very important. Um, from my point of view, AI as a solopreneur, if that's the right word, there's only one of me, and I'd need to do so many things. So AI gives us the opportunity to do more, and I don't want a robot. I don't want. No, I don't need that. I don't. I wouldn't mind an autonomous car though. I tell you what, I would buy one if they were available. I would. I would love to get in the car and say, "Okay, can you take me to Woolworths?" And I just sit in the car and it takes me to Woolworths. Thank you. Stay here. I'll be 10 minutes. I've got to get some things. Can you drive me home, please? I would love that. Like I'd buy one of them. And how far away are we from autonomous cars? A couple of years? What do you think? What are the things impediments to it, autonomous cars that we can buy and own? Anyone can pick up on this. Do you know anything about this, Gabby?
This isn't my field as much, and I will say it's fun to watch though. I have a lot of friends in the field, a lot of people into electric vehicles and things of that nature, but I I'm not quite there yet, so I don't know.
That's all right.
Keith, are you talking when cars are going to be fully autonomous?
Yeah, I just want to get in a car and say, "Take me to Woolworths."
I mean, there's already cabs out there that are doing that. They're testing them right now. They're essentially like benches that are facing each other, and you kind of can like just get in those in cities now. And there's gonna be a lot more than just cars. So they're gonna be doing quadcopters and stuff like that around cities and
Yeah,
stuff too. So, I mean, cars for the most part, there's just a couple different ways they're going about it. There's Some are trying to use sensors in the road. Some are trying to use IoT that is linking between two cars. So there's different ways that different companies are approaching how to solve the same problem. But realistically, uh, with how quickly AI is advancing, my prediction, you're going to be seeing a heck of a lot more get in the car and go stuff in 3 to 5 years.
And I'd buy one of them. I'd buy one of them. My wife would have to put a blindfold on. She wouldn't. She wouldn't come with me, but I'd be up for that. What we do know in Australia and in Europe, we know we have driverless trucks. Uh, in Australia, we have a lot of trouble getting drivers to drive the trucks. We actually have a shortage of drivers. So what we're having here is we have someone load the truck up at the end of the town, drive it down the highway to the next big town, say Sydney to Melbourne. Then someone unloads the truck, turns it around, fills it up again, sends it back. Now, that trip might take 12 hours, and that would have been a person driving in the middle of the night, hitting kangaroos and possibly falling asleep. And then they've got to go there, have a sleep, and come back. Right? This is a very interesting debate, but most of the time we can't get the drivers. I'd be very interested to hear what people think about this, because there's a two-way flow. One is we're taking the job away from a potential person who's going to drive the truck, and some people like doing that, but we can't get them. Australians as a nation can't get enough truck drivers, so we're building tech to just drive down the road by ourselves. This makes a lot of sense to me. Is this your area, Chris, or are we venturing into sort of unknown territory here?
No, I talk about all this stuff. I learn about this stuff right now at MIT. So, it's really funny. Some of the stuff they're going to be doing, picture like an elderly person not being able to go to the supermarket to go shopping. So you have a personal like AI robot, like picture the TV show Sunny on Apple TV, that will leave your home, get into your autonomous car, drive that autonomous car to the supermarket. Well, a robot will have been driving around picking your order, essentially bring it out to your autonomous robot, which will then exchange with the store's robot will exchange with your robot, put it back in your car, and then drive that home and bring it into your house for you. That's the ultimate goal. So, I mean, if you are worried about people on Rascals today who aren't really like willing to get up and go shopping, it's the people it's going to be designed for, hopefully, are just the elderly or those who have severe mobility issues. I hope it doesn't make too many people too lazy. But we will have the ability to do all of that in the relatively short term.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. And you brought this on, Gabby. This is the great thing about LinkedIn audio events, what I'm calling LinkedIn live audio events. We change the conversation based on a conversation with Gabby. But what I'd really like to do here, bringing it back to maybe something that more people in the call can understand, I'd love to talk about the ramifications, good and bad, of AI for business. Like, I'm one person, I do everything, right? There's only one of me. Now, I could pay people. I could do that. But I like to do things myself. But there's some things I just don't want to do. And I'm not sure I want to pay someone else to do it. And I'd be interested to know what AI can do for us. And what are the good and the bad and the ugly there. What do you think, Gabby? You go first.
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite things in the world, to be honest, because I have always been entrepreneurial at heart. And even in elementary school, I said what I really wanted to be when I grew up is an entrepreneur. And so, something I say all the time is if I had AI in high school, I'd probably be very rich already, because I would have been able to simply drop some of the barrier to entry to learn certain things. And I think that's where AI can be very useful, is when you use it with critical thinking, but also creative thinking, you can really educate yourself on pretty much anything you've ever wanted to learn. And I think that is the part that is really great for business owners, because it can make certain systems and operations a little bit easier to access.
Yeah, look, I was a muso in the 80s, and I can tell you for sure, if I had streaming, I wouldn't have joined a band. I would have done everything myself. I wouldn't have had to rely on a guitarist, a singer, a drummer. a bass player, I would just done everything myself. Now the music probably would have been terrible, but the point is, it's my music. I don't have to rely on a drummer to turn up sober and go to the gig sober. I'm in complete control of my sound. Now, this isn't in music. I understand this completely. And I think this makes a lot of sense for entrepreneurs. One of the discussions, and I'll start here as a very real world discussion. There's some discussion about the idea that people want short, sharp videos, but I don't like making videos. But I do these very, very long videos that it seems a shame not to cut them up, make little bits out of them, but I don't have the time. Imagine if I could just plug the video in, and this technology probably already exists. I just drop the video into a bucket and it comes out with 10 videos on the other side. Right? And I just put those videos on LinkedIn. It's simple, in and out. Does that technology exist? Do you know, Gabby, or does anyone else want to pick up on this?
It does. I'm pretty sure there is a software out there that can help you split up your long form video. Yeah, someone correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone else seen something similar?
Did you want to pick up on this, Chris? Did you have some ideas about you're going to do video? So I mean, I'm guessing you're
Yeah, I'm looking at three right now that I just got pulled up on my screen. There's one called King AI, one called Opus Clip,
Opus.
uh, Media.io, Top View AI, and AITUBO.ai. So there's tons of them. And then so I'm just gonna play around with these, especially the .io ones. Those are always my favorite because they're just, you kind of don't really have to worry about it. You just sign in, they work usually. Those are the ones that are designed for the Edge network, which is designed for AI. So I always mess around in there first. And then usually it's just you sign in with your Google account and add some stuff in. So I'll tinker around with it tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be able to make a short of this since I'm streaming it to YouTube right now. And maybe we'll be able to play it during the show or something, or play it before the show to see how it
Well,
worked out.
let me just pick this up. This is really cool. I'm just going to riff on this for a minute. So I just Googled. This is a very good way. This is exactly what I want to do. So Opus Clip. I'm hearing a lot about Opus Clip. I've heard this word a few times. So I went to Opus Clip, and guess what? They have a Discord community. Now this is very, very sort of circular. What we would call Meta before Meta became Meta. I'm going to talk about Opus Clip, and Opus Clip has a Discord account, and I can join the Discord feed, and then Discord feeds to Opus Clip. And so it becomes like this infinity loop. So Opus Clip can actually take your videos and can send them to break them up. Let's have this discussion. Is anyone using this? You're thinking, Chris P, that you want to do this? Tell me what you think.
I'm clicking it right now to sign up.
So they have a Discord community, which means that it's a very techie type of environment. I'm going to bring Richard in. We're talking about video editing software. Richard, I think you have another one to suggest. I've heard a lot of people talking about Opus Pro or Opus Clip, because we're talking about the idea that people want short 90-second videos, and we do these long 4-hour shows, right? And there's a very big disconnect between the two. What do you use? Have you heard of Opus Clip? Or what do you use instead?
Hi everyone. I use I haven't been editing videos lately, to be honest. But Angela uses Adobe Premiere with the Firecut extension, right? Which is really really good. Like there's a lot of cool stuff. I think this extension already using AI capture like the best moments and converts you to short form, right? Let's say you have a full length video and it captures like the AI already identifies like what is interesting, what is the, let's say, what is really relevant in this video, and then it captures and converts to a short form. And that's what Angela has been using. Only Adobe Premiere with this Firecut.ai.
Okay, so Adobe Premiere is a paid feature, right? But it's got a plugin called Firecut.
That's right. Yeah. Yes. And
All right.
but yeah,
So
I think magic comes from this Firecut. Yeah, it's a very powerful tool.
and you have a person on your team that does the editing of videos. What's your take on videos? You don't do them yourself, but are they working to promote the brand? Are they helpful?
Yes, I
Rich?
think videos are very powerful. I remember that was in John Kraske audio event right last year. He's one of a top voice, and here on LinkedIn, I asked him, like, I raised my hand and say, hey, how can we make our audience to expand, right? Because sometimes we just feel it's always the same people engaging with us, which is fine, right? We love these people, but sometimes how can we expand my audience? And he said, a great question, make videos, right? And I think he realized that video, LinkedIn in special, really likes videos because people spend more time watching inside the platform. And I don't know, they can definitely boost more advertising. That's my perception. Um, but yeah, I think in order for to make videos on LinkedIn, the challenge is in general you have to make videos about yourself, right? Like that's what works well. And just like you and me, if we are not very keen to record ourselves, right? It's not something that we enjoy doing. We can do that, right? We can, but it's not something that we enjoy doing. And that's why I'm trying to figure out what kind of video, in addition to recording ourselves, would be interesting, right? For the art, will be useful for the audience. I don't like much AI videos, but that's my take on it.
Yeah. Well, my goal, I only have one goal, and that is that I want 10 people on every call every time I do them. I don't particularly want people to watch the replay, although I give you the replay. You can watch it if you want. I don't really care about that. What I really care about is that I would love to have 10 people on the call every time, because the conversation is rich, it's deep, it's very, very robust. And so, for instance, let's look here. I'll turn the show off. This looks very, very good when you've got multiples of 3 and 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 6, 9. At the moment, we've got 5, and it looks pretty good. There it is. It looks pretty good. Yeah, I'll put myself in the middle because I'm talking, or put Gabby in the middle because she's the guest. And, this looks very, very, very visual. I'm calling this podcasting with pictures. But it has occurred to me that if someone wants to watch the little snippets of our show, I would be pretty open to trying that. But I don't want to do the editing. I don't want to be doing the work. It's like I don't mind the lawn being mowed, but I don't want to mow it. I don't mind my car being well serviced and running, but don't ask me to change the oil. I just take it to someone else to do that. That's what their job is. I'm not going to change the oil. Come on. And I would love to pay someone else to mow my lawn. I love the lawn being mowed, but I don't want to mow it. So I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on this idea of video editing from the point of view of Opus Clip, from a point of view of Adobe Premiere. So let's everyone should listen to everyone. So let's have this discussion. Tell us a bit more about Firecut, Richard, and why that's a good idea.
Well, Firecut is definitely in the past we were using a tool that was called Content Groove, and it has particularly this feature where it captures what is important in the video, and it converts to a portrait video, right? For you to use, like, create like short form videos, and we use for many videos that we have in our YouTube channel. And YouTube typically kind of gives more visibility if you do short, right? Especially because they want to be in this space. But this company, like this this video editor, they shut down their doors, and now that's why we started to look for alternatives. We were using Farcut, but it didn't have this option for you to add storage blocks that we discussed the last time, right? Which is kind of footages to represent specific scenes that you're working, that you're speaking. And it didn't have like the option for you to create like portrait videos. Now, yeah, the tool is getting more and more powerful, right? And you have all these features. You upload your video. It already, like, the first thing that it does is it removes all um like muted pieces, right? Like if you have empty pieces that people are not speaking anything or just saying huh, or I don't like it cuts everything like that automatically using the AI, right? And then your video is already more clean and more engaging by default. After that, you can use, all different options. You can use this option for zooming in or out, like the image, right? And just say you're stalking something and then gets closer and then gets far away. It makes all this stuff automatic. And it also adds the captions, right? If you need captions, it already adds for you the captions. You can customize. That's why, it's been like a one one specific solution that does everything.
A one-stop shop, as we call it.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, we can actually have up to 10 people on the call, and Chris is actually sending this file to YouTube, and several people have made comments on Instagram and also LinkedIn. I'm just going to pick up some of those comments. Chris is saying, "Where am I now?" As he's listening to it on YouTube. Tell us about this idea of multi-streaming, Chris. This is a pretty unique feature that this site does, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome. So right now, you've got me in a perfect moment actually, because you caught me while I'm clipping with Opus. It just pulls up. It says post directly from Opus Clip. I can do YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, yada yada yada. So and that those are most of those line up with how I'm using Restream. So right now, because I signed in a little late, I didn't add all my channels. So right now, currently, I'm going to just LinkedIn and YouTube, but normally I'm going here, those two places, as well as Instagram and Facebook. So what I'm discovering now is I can basically just clip shorts for all of these all at once and just restream everything everywhere and just kind of blow up the internet with myself and anybody who follows me or anybody who joins the show. So wow, I think we just hit a gold mine.
Yeah, well, let me pick on up on why that's important. I don't know how to edit videos very well, so I have to learn that. And so Opus Clip already does it. But here's a really cool piece that Chris said. I run away from landscaping work and also video editing. These are two tasks that we actually don't want to do that are probably important. What do you think, Chris? Can you imagine using some AI to edit your videos and maybe get a robot to mow your lawn? Is that where we're going with this?
Oh,
Do you
I
think?
would love to get a robot to mow my lawn. There's robots to vacuum your floors. I think there should be a robot to mow your lawn if it doesn't already exist, right?
Agreed. That is definitely a problem in the market.
There's a
It, it,
there's a company that needs to be started right there.
well, there is one. Husqvarna.
All right.
Husqvarna does indeed make. I've been actually asking my wife about this. We had a big fight about this. My wife and I are polar opposites on this. She's a sort of a hands-on type of get your hands dirty. She loves she loves growing her own veggies and getting out there and doing the weeding. And I'm thinking, look, I don't mind that this stuff needs to be done, but I don't have to do it. Why should I do it? And she would say, well, why shouldn't you do it? Who else is going to do it? There must be a piece of tech that allows us to mow our lawns with a robot. There must be. And this is exactly what we're talking about. Whether it's mowing your lawn, servicing your car, cutting up your videos, cooking your food, washing your dishes. Well, we have a robot for that. It's called a dishwasher, right? You put the dishes in, you put a little tablet in the dishwasher, you push go. And in 3 hours they're sparkling clean. depending on how long you want to run them for. We've already got the tech. Why don't we do the same thing for cutting up videos, mowing our lawn, servicing our car? And it's as you said, Chris, it's not that we just want to sit around on the couch and watch a cricket. Like there's a million things we could be doing with our time rather than mowing the lawn. Million things. I just spent the weekend in the city. I'd rather be doing that than mowing the lawn and washing dishes. So I think this is a very important discussion to have. If you'd like to come up and talk about your video editing experience, I would love to have you. We can have up to 10 people on the call. Please DM me if you want a link to the show. It's a very simple one. We can have up to 10 people on the call, and there's no time limit. So just take your time and come when you can. I just want to give you plenty of options, Gabby. You don't yet. You're saying you use LinkedIn as your website. You don't have a website or a blog or a YouTube channel or a podcast yet, or if or
Yes.
ever.
Yeah, as of right now, not yet. I am in the works of developing my YouTube out, and then yeah, just going from there and probably getting a website eventually, but I'm kind of keeping everything small, and I want to make sure all of my connections I've at least been in the same room with for as long as I can, but admittedly I am growing pretty quickly.
Yeah. What is your take on the concept of Plan B? What happens if LinkedIn goes away or bans you for a week? What would you do then?
So actually, this is something I think about heavily, and I've been trying to figure out my CRM of choice, because as of right now, the options are HubSpot or something similar, which seems very robust for where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Or I've had some people show me where you can pretty much make a CRM in Google Suite or Google Workspace. And so I've been thinking about doing something like that, which is, essentially an email list or something like that. But trust me, I definitely think about, oh, if my link right now, I would uh in for a rude awakening, but I also believe that hey, if I have to start over, I'd figure it out.
Yeah, you would. Let's have this chat. I've got a couple of ideas for you there. I'm not sure why your background went black, but it looks pretty funky. Looks very, very cool. I'm going to try and do this. I know that you may not know this, but the electric guitar amplifier was invented in like 1937 when the guitarist for the, Count Basie band. I'm going to look at the exact stats in a minute. Dropped the amp in the car. The speaker tore and it made this funky sound. He says, "What is that sound? Let's recreate that sound." That's how distortion was invented, 1937. This happened by accident. I have no idea what happened there, but it looks so cool. I'm going to do this again. I just went on a bit of a rant there, but I want to have a chat about what is your plan B? What would you do if LinkedIn went away? Would you be stuffed, or do you have already somewhere to send them? What do you think, Chris? Chris V, if LinkedIn went away, what would you do?
Yeah, that's a big step, right? Because outside of LinkedIn, I'm not sure if there's any uh, a complimentary. I guess I don't know if that's a good word or not. Like, I don't know if there's any like relevant professional site that's like LinkedIn as a competing platform. So you put a lot of people in a bind if LinkedIn just suddenly went away. Now, if you're searching for a different platform to get your word out, then Discord is probably a good community-based system that I'd like to get involved with. That would be a good plan B, I'd imagine. Something that I put some focus in. I would stay away from like Facebook. You can have that Facebook Live type event, but I'm not sure if that is the platform that I would utilize, to get my word out.
Yeah,
The more I think about it, I
I'm
think
going to throw
Discord.
Richard in a minute. But have you heard of Go Brunch? Have you
I
heard of?
am learning all. I am 24 hours into Go Brunch,
Yeah. Well,
so I'm learning all about it. Yeah,
what's your take on it?
yeah. It has some cool features, a lot of complementary features to the platform we're using right now. Not sure what differentiates that from Restream or Discord at the moment, but I'm willing to take a look at it and see, if there's some niche features there that are unique and compelling.
Well, I've got a show coming up about this, so there's a couple of things I want to talk about as Plan B. When not if when LinkedIn banned me for 4 days in January 2024, which I will never forget, I had to find something else, and that something else was Go Brunch. And the reason I love it, I off the charts love it, is that it replicates real life. You can create visually pleasing rooms that replicate what you are doing in your life. So, for instance, I used to do a lot of speaking gigs. So I created an auditorium. I'm going to show you this now, and this is where I do my Go Brunch rooms. And I call it the Go Brunch Auditorium. And I created an auditorium that replicates gigs that I've done in person. Look at that. This is amazing. Chris, you definitely got to do this. This is a cool thing. So, you can have 5 people like we're doing now. You can have 5 people sitting on chairs, and you can have 25 people in the audience listening to the 5 people on chairs. Now, you can have actually up to 200 people on the call if you can configure the room to look that cool. And this is a game-changing site. This is game-changing for me. I do a lot of shows here, and I'm doing one in a minute, in a couple of weeks at least. And it's very different to Restream or Go Brunch, Restream or Zoom or, StreamYard. Very different. I've never seen anything like this before. And before I bring Richard in to talk about it, Richard is the founder of Go Brunch. I want to say bring Chris in because you're doing Go Brunch rooms too now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to be starting them very soon. Like I said earlier, Richard and I had a talk just before the show, or not just before the show, about 2 hours before the show. And he's going to help me kind of tie together some of the my rooms the way some of the more creative people on Go Brunch have done it. Because if you're an extreme creative, somebody who really knows how to play around with the features of Go Brunch, you could really make anything you want in there. I went into this bar that kind of reminded me, it felt like going through Narnia or The Hobbit or something, and there was Easter eggs, different doors you can go in, basements, attics. I've seen Bez's room where he's got like a cityscape, and I'm really been underutilizing it, and I'm really excited to see what I can do with it. Probably Q2 this year, really blow it out of the water.
Yeah. Well, I want to pick up on this is a very, very, very good use of Restream and Go Brunch. Restream is simply replicating what I've done on Go Brunch in like a PowerPoint slide, really. But in Go Brunch, you are sitting on those chairs. You are sitting in the audience. It's glorious. Like, have you heard of this one, Gabby? Am I introducing this one to you for the first time?
So actually, I haven't heard of Go Brunch, but it reminds me a lot of Engage, which is more of an XR or VR platform where people can use either, I think they can use iOS devices and other mobile devices, but you can also use your actual like VR headset to go into an auditorium similar to that and interact with people, and it's pretty intriguing.
Yeah. Well, it picks up on your love of VR. Richard, I want you to have a bit of a chat about this. This is very, very important. This is your moment in the sun. Go Brunch is a game-changing site. It has changed my life, and I tell everyone in the world that will listen about it. Tell me about what you love about it. You made it. It was your idea, and tell us about the upcoming expo, which is actually on next week. So this is like perfect timing.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. The idea that I have, right, and it's nice because I'm talking with some cool people to get more ideas, right? But the idea that I have with Go Brunch is to as a more like a community platform. And I think the main difference between any kind of streaming software or video conferencing is that first of all, you don't have like it's not like you have to start a session. The room you create, like Chris, we are creating a room together, me and Chris, and then the room already exists, right? And then all you have to do is you have to join the room, and we don't even have to be there. It's a room where people can join at any time. And if you have like a beach bar or anything like that, is something that your community members they can join even if you're not there, right? And that's what many people have been finding useful because it's it's getting very very difficult for us to engage using text only, right? This kind of text based platforms that reminds Facebook groups, right? They are very very difficult to engage these days. And that's where Go Brunch takes place because you can gather with your members in different rooms of your space, right? Keith has like a radio station. He has like a scenario that reminds Australia, right? And it's super cool because we can gather all the friends together and we can have a chat, we can have after parties. And moreover, like there are features that helps you to connect with the Go Brunch community if you want to, right? Which is optional. And the expo, right? Talking about the expo is organized by the community. It's like a community-driven event organized by Peggy MacArthur, and she created the expo because she sees a lot of potential with Go Brunch, and she wants people to experience, right? And then she created this. It's a super cool event. It's free for you guys to join. If you have like a Go Brunch license, you can even have like a booth. Chris will be there, right? And Keith will be there. Many people here. I'm not able to see the comments right now. I know they'll have their spaces, and you can explore different spaces during the expo. In each one of these spaces, they are from a different person, and it doesn't require you to use VR. Right? We don't have VR. Actually, it's very simple, more like a 2D environment. Otherwise, I would feel a little bit dizzy. And yeah, I just have to click here, click there, and visit different rooms. Some rooms are like, meditation rooms where you just join and relax. Some rooms you will see like it's more for speaking with the person or see whatever they are offering. And some of them they are like for networking and different experiences that you can find. We are expecting more than 300 people in this edition and more than 60 exhibitors.
Yeah. And look,
Everyone here is invited to join. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sending this link out now. It's the natural extension of what we're talking about. Like let me just explain exactly how Restream. This is a very good example of what we're talking about, and I'll bring up the decoder for Go Brunch by comparison now. I do have your message here about alignable, Cynthia. I'll mention this in a minute. I know exactly what you're talking about there. So with Restream, which is what we're on now, Restream is a sort of two-dimensional 16 by 8, 9 environment. It can be 916 if you want it to be portrait. If you prefer, you can do that. So it's free to use. You can have 6 people on stage. The most important thing to remember about LinkedIn is I have no idea who's listening. If you don't make a comment, I have no idea you're there. And that really pisses me off. Like, I want to know who's listening. I want to call on you. I want to say hello. I want to honor you. But I have no idea who you are. Really pisses me off.
We've got Reagan, we've got Margaret, we've got Kenny, Ludwig, Cynthia, Peter. We got a bunch of people here in the audience, so we got a lot here. So if you ever need me, Richard was here. I mean, Michael was here. So if you ever need me, I could always let you know who's in the audience on my end.
That's right. So, but you only know that because they've made comments, right?
Correct. So
Yeah.
I could see comments from everywhere here, though, on my side on the Restream. So I could see everybody's. It's from Discord, from YouTube, everybody. I could see everything all to the right as a co-host.
Yeah, but only because they've commented.
Yep. Yeah, so if they're sitting there lurking, unfortunately, we have no idea they're there.
Yeah. So with this in mind, Restream, it's free to use. Then there's $19 a month, and then there's $49. Like, this is a very complete system if you want this look. And you can Restream to go to up to 30 different places, including LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube and lots of other really cool places. Go Brunch, on the other hand, is an amazing system where we're replicating the real world. This is exactly what we're doing. We're trying to imagine that we're in a real world. This was very important during the pandemic, but even now, like I live in Melbourne, Australia. It's a 14-hour flight to LA. I can tell you what, I'm not doing it. I'm not flying for 14 hours to get to LA. I've done that. It's not fun. I hate flying. So I'm going to create an environment that looks a little bit like LA. And to give you some ideas, I live near the beach. Now, you might not live near the beach, but you wouldn't mind hanging out at the beach. So I created a room that looked like the beach. And it's very, very cool. This is exactly what the cafe near my house looks like. Not exactly, pretty close. So if you're sort of up for it, we could meet there. This is the power of Go Brunch, isn't it, Richard? This idea that we can have an environment that replicates our real life. I just love it. I mean, I can't get enough of it.
I think
Yeah.
that is beautiful.
Oh, go ahead, Gabby.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I really love the customization features, and I would love to see what it looks like when people are interacting inside of it. Is it kind of similar to this where we're just boxes on screens, or yeah, how does that work?
Well, you can be on video, but you can also be a little talking head on a chair. But you, Richard, you tell us about the interactivity. That's the key part, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, there are many ways for you to interact. You can use like circular cameras, you can use rectangular cameras, or you can use audio only, like we're doing here. And yeah, and then there are some interesting stuff. You can have animated gifs for interact with each other. And what is really cool is that you can kind of change the settings, like the arrangement of the circles in real time, right? Like, let's say, oh, I'm tired of this background. You can just change. And one more thing that is possible to do, which is very cool, like, is the ability for you to kind of create a story. Imagine, for example, this room here, and imagine that you can add like an interactive arrow outside of this kind of this bar, right? And then you say, hey guys, next chapter of our meeting, we have to click on this arrow, right? And then you click on this arrow and takes us to a completely different environment. And you can even have music playing, right? And it's just like, imagine like a slideshow, but everyone can control, or you can control them. And then you have more this kind of interactive meetings inside your space. Like, and it could be like a meditation room, and it could be like a restaurant or a coffee shop, right? I think it's just like up to your imagination. And this kind of AI imagery that you see here, it already has it is available in GoBrunch. You can generate an image directly there.
Yeah, let me pick up on how important that really is. If you don't know anything at all about AI, this is just you have to sit down and take note of this. This is a very important feature. You can actually create your own AI generated room inside of Go Brunch. They have an AI generator now. Very, very, very photorealistic. And it's built in. It's just built in now. Now, what I wanted to show you is that, to your point about the arrows, I've created a lobby. Actually, a friend of mine built this for me. But you can see yourself sitting in those chairs, right? Now, on the actual site, gobrunchradio.com, if you go to this site, there's actually arrows on the pillars that'll take you to the various rooms. And I've got 16 rooms in my Go Brunch room and my Go Brunch radio station. So it's an immersive world. Talking about Plan B, it's an immersive world. Like, LinkedIn is a flat two-dimensional environment with a billion users, and that is brilliant. But what if it goes away, or what if it goes down, or what if they decide, you know what, you're doing things we don't agree with. You're talking about things we don't want you to talk about. We're going to ban you for a week. And believe me, I know how that feels. It's just, I think it's the coolest thing. I want to keep going with this idea. Chris has indeed done a little bit of a video. Tell us a little bit about that, Chris, and I might come back to that a bit later. But you've done a little bit of a video from the show.
So I took our thought leadership thing that we did, and I'm doing two more right now that are just finishing converting. And if you check out my LinkedIn right now, it just posted. And let's take a look. Let's listen to it. I'll play it right now off my phone. See if it'll work. I can't get the volume to work because I'm already on the show, but it made a perfect little clip. And you could check it out. It's got captions and different words, and it's buzzing back and forth between me and you talking about thought leadership. It looks awesome.
Yeah, and it just took that from the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I took it from the YouTube channel, and so it posted it right straight to YouTube, straight to LinkedIn instantaneously. I'm gonna have two more coming out in a few minutes, and I tagged you in it, so you can check that out. You're already tagged in it, and you'll have it to share to your audience whenever you want.
Oh, I love this.
Magic on the show,
Yeah,
video
look,
editing done.
it's very, very important that we talk about this because, unless you've got a team of people, this is going to take you all day. So AI is just the genius for this. Um, let's explore this a bit. I just want to run with this thought here. Go Brunch virtual rooms take the idea of Restream up a notch. Restream is awesome, but you have to send it somewhere. It's not a self-contained ecosystem. You can only have 10 people there. With Go Brunch, you can have up to 200 people. In fact, up to 600 people on their top tier plan. 600. You could run whole events here. You could have whole days. My radio station has 16 rooms, so you could run events all day. It's just so cool. Can you imagine yourself doing this, Gabby? I might be introducing you to something you've never heard of before, but this is pretty cool, isn't it?
It's very, very cool, and I definitely could see myself doing it. I actually have already sent it to a few of my colleagues.
So what I'm doing, as you may have heard, I run 3 shows a week. I'm so into this. I run 3 shows a week. So if you want to know more about these shows, go to whereiskeithtoday.com. And the reason I'm mentioning that is that I have a show coming up next week about Go Brunch. Actually, in fact, the expo is next week. My show's the following week, where I'm going to basically interview some of the people that were on the expo about what they're doing and featuring their rooms, some of which look like this. So if you've got a Go Brunch room, I'd love to have you on the show. If you've never heard of Go Brunch before, I'd love you to come to the show and have a look and see how we're doing this. It is a miracle. It's just a miracle. I'm just hitting a moment of sort of flatness. I'm just going to try and regroup. Chris, tell us about that video and what was in it, and how do you think you might reuse those?
So, remember my first show I did a couple weeks back when I first got Restream? We did that thought leadership. It was me, you, Amalia, Zakia, Scott Holderson, and Mike, and a few others. So, I took that, I ran it through Opus, and let's take a listen.
Own business that had a feeling of sort of sharing their knowledge. It never occurred to me that a thought leader would work with clients, and I mean, obviously, that's how they make their income. But I was really interested in your thoughts that you don't consider yourself a thought leader because you.
And this is well captioned. It's beautiful. It's phenomenal, Keith.
That's a fantastic insight, and possibly a little bit of humility that.
And it nailed it right to LinkedIn's perfect clip level. I cut it off a little early because I don't want to, bore the whole show with. They can watch it right, on our page right after the show. But it is up there. It's captioned, and it hits the sweet spot in video length time that LinkedIn is looking for. So that right there is a home run.
Well, let's pick up on this. This is very, 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 very important. LinkedIn wants videos to be 90 seconds. My shows go 4 hours. Like, I'm so out of the loop that LinkedIn probably finds me annoying. But wouldn't it be great if we could find 90 seconds of each show to highlight and say, look, this is what the show was about. Here's 90 seconds that really captures the essence of what we talked about. It's great. It's lovely. I'm very proud of what we said there. If you want to know more, by all means, go and have a look at the whole thing. And here's the link to the replay. But here's a 90-second snippet, a teaser. You could do that all day, Chris. You've got that show already ready to go. You could put that clip as a post on LinkedIn and link it to the replay, right? Bloody genius.
Yeah. I can link it to my website. I can have shorts up there. Possibilities are really endless because I can use this for content now. I can build up Facebook. I can build up Instagram. I can build up Blue Sky now with these shorts. Now all of a sudden I have a reason to use Blue Sky. I've got stuff to throw on Twitch. I'm like, my head's exploding right now. So yeah, I'm excited.
And Richard, how do you use the clips that Angela makes for you? Where do you put them, and how do you use them? Oh, has Richard gone?
Which part of me?
What do you do with the videos that Angela does for you? How do you use them?
I have two types of videos. Like one of them is pretty much like tutorials, and the tutorials we only use like long form, and we publish on YouTube. Right, YouTube is our main social media for videos. Now, what is interesting is that yeah, in the past we were doing like shorts, and visibility is actually interesting. Like we get more visibility in the shorts than the long, but it's a lot. I was just we have to prioritize our time, right? As much as it's not a big deal for us to do that, we have to upload the videos, add descriptions, and monitor, right? Add some kind of metrics, and that's why we are no longer doing that. The second kind of videos that we do is like um, use cases or case studies, right? Say, hey, how you can use GoBrunch for your e-commerce store, or how you can use GoBrunch for, building a community about of coaches, right? Like, and then we create videos specifically targeting this particular topic, right? And then for these ones, I would say the shorts are actually interesting. We used to kind of um repurpose these videos in all sort of social media, right? And then we do it like on LinkedIn, on X, on TikTok, on Instagram and Facebook. But to be honest, like I don't know, like this is something that I have been thinking, right? I've been inspired by Chris, right? Because he's really good at doing this multi-platform. But sometimes I just feel like people from I don't know, from TikTok, they really need a very, very, very different video from what we are producing on YouTube. As much as we are, changing the format and everything, it's not like the same vibe, right? We need to. I feel like we should recreate from the scratch. But that's the two different ways that I have. Right, I have these two kinds of videos. There's one more just to end it, which is my LinkedIn shows that I'm doing in Go Brunch with Kenyatta Turner, right? Which is I do on Go Brunch and then I live stream to LinkedIn. And this one is there are more like panels up to like 6 people, and I invite them to a Go Brunch room. We have like a kind of a panel, a very cool discussion about I think one of them was like about ADHD, last one about technology and health, and yeah, and then we have discussion and record, and then it's on LinkedIn. I don't know if you the guys noticed, but there is a tool on LinkedIn to edit the video directly on LinkedIn. Have you ever seen
It's
that?
part of it. Yes. It's very clumsy, but it is quite basic, but it does work. Bringo. William, do you want to jump in on this? We are chatting, we are rocking this. Do you want to pick up on what you're doing? How do you use videos? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have we lost? Have you lost me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. I'm here. I think we lost.
Do you want to jump in? You having a bit of trouble getting your mic to work there, William? Do you want to? What we're doing here is we're talking about a couple of things, and I want to just circle back. I'm going to give him a call on the rotary. We got you there. We got you there, William. Hello, William. Are you there?
Hey guys.
Gotcha. There you are.
You
How you
got me.
doing?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm sorry. I was uploading a video, and well, because you guys were talking about uploading videos, right? So I'm like, oh, let me upload this video clip real quick. So I was doing that, and I couldn't get back to the restream part because the video clip was behind the screen. Anyway, your question was, how do I do my videos? So I record my entire podcast, and then I actually use AI to create snippets of that podcast, and they actually give it a name and a suggested length of time, and I try to keep it like 45 seconds to 90 seconds whenever I'm doing that. But I did it straight from the platform that I use for my podcasting. So I'm not using Restream.
Are you using Riverside?
I'm using StreamYard.
Ah, okay. So that's okay. StreamYard and Riverside, they're StreamYard and Restream, they're in a way like brothers, but like competitors, maybe like cousins that
Right.
don't like each other. But StreamYard has all these features, doesn't it? It's a very similar site, isn't it?
It is, and I will say this. Um, I I'm not sure which one I prefer, if that makes sense, because I'm looking at Restream for the first time, but whenever I try to talk to you on Restream, and I don't know if anyone else has this issue, it takes me out of LinkedIn.
Oh,
So I have to go over. And so then once I connect to Restream and we start talking, I have to close out my LinkedIn tab because then you get the feedback back and forth.
and that doesn't happen on StreamYard?
When anyone clicks into the link on StreamYard, I believe it leaves them on whatever platform they're on, because I do three-way streaming. That sounds bad. But I stream on LinkedIn, YouTube Live, and Facebook Live simultaneously.
Yeah.
So I get messages from all three platforms. I can tell where the messages are coming from, and I can respond, and the responses go to all three platforms.
So when you do your show on, have you been a guest on a StreamYard show?
I'm a guest on the StreamYard show right now. Oh, no. I've never been a guest on the StreamYard show. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is Restream.
This is a very important point. Because the lag, this is extremely important. Because the lag is so bad, it could be as much as 10 minutes, 2 minutes. It's sometimes up to 10 minutes. The lag is so bad that it's almost impossible to do the show and have LinkedIn going at the same time. You can't do it. So
Right.
obviously, Restream has worked out that if you're inside the studio and a guest, well, then you don't want LinkedIn going as well, because it's just going to stuff you up, because the lag is so bad. You just get this massive echo.
Absolutely. Yeah. So right now, LinkedIn's closed, and I'm on Restream.
But I would be fascinated to know, from your point of view, when you go to a show on StreamYard as a guest, whether you experience this exact same thing. That would be a very interesting experiment to do, because you've got your Restream, you're inside it yourself. It's your studio. You're the boss.
Right.
We all are unaware of what it feels like to be the host or the guest, depending on what side of the fence we're on. Let's do that. Let's go to a StreamYard show one day and be guests and see what it feels like to be guests. That way, we've got a direct comparison, haven't we?
Well, every Sunday I have a show at 4 p.m. You're more than happy to come.
Yeah, it's two in the
More than welcome. It's 2
two,
hours before your show.
it's
Your
2 in
show's
the
at
morning.
6, and mine's so. Your show that you have at 6 o'clock on Sundays,
Yeah, that's 10 a.m. for me.
right? So my show's at 8 a.m. for you.
Is it?
Yeah, because your show comes on 2 hours after mine.
Oh, okay. Geez, that's a good. Okay, so that's on Mondays.
Sundays. Yeah, Monday for you.
Yeah.
Monday for you.
And
Yeah.
tell us about the show. I want to give you the kudos. What's that about?
Um, it's an open discussion, to be honest with you. I'm not here to sell you anything or to um, bring any knowledge to you. I'm here to learn from you and to share our life experiences and to share our different perspectives because we all see things through a different lens. Um, I think that I don't know where everyone's from, but in America at this point, you know, things are so divided and we're not talking about certain things and why we feel certain ways. So I wanted to create a intimate forum where I don't know any of the guests that are my co-hosts. So I usually have two co-hosts, um, and the co-hosts don't know each other. And we just say, "Welcome to UBU Live," and tell us about yourself. And so that's 2 or 3 minutes. And then, so what's interesting in your background? And in the last one that we had on Sunday, um, both of the people were vets, and both of them suffered from CPSD. But both of them dealt with it differently. One suppressed all the emotions, and the other one became a raging alcoholic and drug addict, and had to recover from everything that happened. And so they were talking about that experience, and then one of the two lives in Los Angeles, and he lost his entire home to the fires. So we talked about that and how that felt, and he had a seizure last week because of all the stress. And it's just people talking about what's going on in their lives and how they're dealing with it. What I really want is because last Sunday it was very like-minded people, which was great. It made for a really great fun show. Um, but I really invite people with diverse views to come on, not to argue, but to discuss why they feel something is um, ineffective that we're doing in our society, or why they feel that this person should be denied certain rights. I'm just I think you said it the other day, Keith, that I'm very liberal, um, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I just think that everyone should be able to live their life. That's why the name of my podcast is You Be You. So we can agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, we can still be friends. You be you. You know, do it your way. I mean, that's what works for you. Then good. I'm supportive of it.
I just
As
love
long as
this.
there's no hate.
Yeah, I just love this. It's very important. I mean, we need to live in an environment where we can be slightly different and still get along.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think for some reason we're in our pods, if that makes sense. So we found our tribes, and so we're only speaking within our tribes. So we're not understanding why it is that Keith thinks that we shouldn't do this, or why Keith believes we should do this.
I love this. This is very, very, very important. Um, so let's find a way to come to your show. Where is it? What time is it? It's Sundays at 6 p.m. your time.
That's a show I
4
definitely want
p.m.
to do.
It's 4 p.m.
4 p.m. your time.
Yes. Um, and it's called UBU Live. If anyone goes to, I haven't put out the next, the next schedule, um, but I'll post it by Wednesday. I'll make sure that Chris gets on that list and everyone here that wants to be a part of it, please join. And then we also, outside of the co-host, um, we'll have people that are in the audience that want to attend. Just let me know, and then you can just chime in. Um, I don't want people to agree with me. I mean, that sounds fun, right? Everyone agrees with me. Everyone thinks I'm right, but that's not the world we live in. So let's
Can
try to
I ask
figure
you,
out how do we
how,
bridge that gap.
given that you're here now on this show as a host, what does it feel like to do this show on StreamYard? What is it? Why is it? In what way is it different? And in what way is it better? And what would you like to see there that you can do here that's not possible? I really want to pull apart StreamYard because it's a direct competitor. People need
Yeah.
to know what it's like.
So Keith, going to also keep saying the same thing. Last week was my second episode, and I am not an expert like you are. I wear my AirPods. I don't have a mic yet. Um, I just decided one day that I want to have a conversation with people, um, and do it out there, and just wanted to see who would come. So I've never tried StreamYard without video. Mine is a video cast, but you can come on, like if you want to be on stage, you can come on and keep your camera off. I don't care. Um, just come on with the positive attitude and sharing why you think, or whatever you want to talk about. I mean,
And do you
I
have the
didn't know that.
paid version, or are you still using the free version?
I am using a free version.
Yeah, well, let's start there. I think, from my understanding, that StreamYard and Restream on the free version are almost identical. You can have 6 people on stage. You can send it to 2 channels. It does not record, and it streams in 720p. I would say that's probably almost identical to what you're getting. So in a way,
I
they're
get
brothers. Yeah.
I get 1080 streaming. I streamed on multiple channels, and I get a recording. And in addition to the recording that I get, and the recording saved in my library. And then just now, I ran it through AI and said, "Can you splice this video up?" Because we talked for an hour and 45 minutes on Sunday. So that event, that event is on LinkedIn, but no one's going to watch all hour and 45 minutes.
Ah, of
So
course.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my AI cuts and send that out in my next reminder of join us on,
Bingo! It's a teaser to the
UVU
next
Live.
show.
Yeah,
To tease it to the. What do you use to cut them up?
I used a StreamYard. So while you were talking, I was listening to what you were saying, and I remembered that StreamYard had something that had said, let me see what it says. Sorry, guys. It said edit, and it asked that I want AI to make short clips for me.
Oh,
And I said,
inside of
and I said,
StreamYard. Inside of StreamYard, it's a feature added in.
yeah.
Ah,
And I just clicked it, and I just got 10 short clips. And I haven't looked at them yet, but I just uploaded the first one. I just took it and said, okay, I don't know what this video is about, but let me just do it.
whoa, this is
And
pretty exciting. Most people in this room are pretty excited about AI. What do you imagine, Chris P? Imagine if you had a site where you did the show and the show tech inside the show said, "The show's finished. Do you want some small clips around this? Click yes, and we'll send you 10. We'll send you 10 small ones. Wouldn't that be good?
that's exactly what it did, by the way.
That's exactly
Yeah,
what it did. Imagine, I'd pay for that. I'd pay for that.
that that's what I'm doing right now with this show with Opus. So I mean, after this is done, it's going to be instantly clipped, and I already popped about 6 out while we're on the show now. They're going
Yeah.
crazy all over all over LinkedIn right now. I'm getting tons of responses on them. So as soon as this one's done, and I'm gonna clip it and tag you in it. So
Oh, that's bingo.
William, I'll tag you as well. I mean, this is a ton of fun. It's just like, and what I'm going to do is it gives you like 15 to choose from. It picks a whole load of
Yeah.
different areas, and it gives you a highlight of like which each subject was about. You could pick different guests that you had on. So throughout the week, you could pepper each and every guest so they get their own individual little thing that they're with you, gives them incentive to join again. repost, share each other's stuff, and just basically spread like wildfire all around the globe.
Yeah. And does yours give you so mine has provided the untold history of Altadena community. So obviously that was about the fires. One thing that changed my life, it's I know what the clip was about. I did the show. So does it do that for you too, Chris?
Yeah, so like I did one for thought leadership, and there's like four different segments that we had. One was our friend Amalia, and it clipped out her talking about her audio leadership club and her brand of thought leadership, our friend Zakia. And it basically brought all those little clips and said what each individual section was about. Made about 18 to 20 of them for each um, full YouTube clip I had up. So when me and Keith do them, they're like 2-3 hours. So it condensed all that and gave me like 15 to 20 good clips that are about 45 to 90 seconds long. And so I'm just posting them, and I could do it one click and it goes to 3 different sites if I needed to.
Okay, so I don't know about that. So for me, what
Opus
StreamYard did
Flip.
was it emailed me. It said all of your clips are ready. Here they are. And so actually, it did take me back to StreamYard when I clicked on it. Now that I think about it, um, I just downloaded them all, and then so I don't know if I could have uploaded them to 3 different places at one
And
time.
how long are they? And do you have a choice of how long they'll be?
Um, I'll let Chris go first, and I'm looking at my thing now.
Yeah. Do you have a choice, Chris? Were you able to say, you know what, LinkedIn wants 90 seconds? Let's do 90 seconds.
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways you could do it. You could do it if you want it to be like, so there's longs to shorts, there's AI captions, AI reframes, you can make B-rolls, there's voiceovers, there's so much you could do in here. All I'm doing right now is just condensing clips that's the first feature I've touched. There is a boatload more in here, and it was $175 for the year. So this was definitely a well worth it purchase. This is,
Yeah.
um, I could do this for you now, Keith, anytime you want. You just send me a YouTube clip that you created or any video clip you create. You can send it in Google Drive, anything you need. You just send it to me. I just burn through a few tokens and it clips it.
Yeah.
Yep. It for me, Chris, just to answer the question, there is a section here that says edit and repurpose, and it has Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So I could have sent them to all 3 places at once if I wanted to.
Yeah, so for Pro Plan,
Correct.
we support videos from YouTube, Google Drive, Vimeo, Zoom, Rumble, Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Dropbox, and StreamYard.
Oh, man.
What is Twitch? I mean, I haven't heard about Twitch until I came on to Keith's show. So what is Twitch?
It's like streaming for gamers.
Okay, all right. So that's why I wouldn't have heard of it.
So Twitch is like, it looks very similar to YouTube, but it's got a much younger audience and it's mostly gamers. Can you believe it? Gamers streaming themselves playing games. I mean,
Okay.
I mean, that's where it started, but now it's young people talking about young people things. And that makes me sound like a very old person talking about old people things. But the point is, Twitch, I don't get Twitch at all. I don't have it. I don't resonate with it at all. But it's a very popular product, and
It,
it's very, very cool with maybe the 18 to 30s.
there's a reason I picked Twitch. That's going to be anybody who's like under the age of 35 is going to explode on Twitch if they've been playing Call of Duty for the past 15, 20 years.
Yeah. I remember during COVID that Twitch was pretty popular when everybody was sequestered and isolated. And I remember getting
Mm,
on Twitch, like just listening to music, live music. Like bands couldn't play in bars anymore because of isolation. So they got on Twitch and they started streaming live music on different channels of Twitch. That was actually kind of cool. That was a pretty cool experience. I mean, it
Okay.
sucked because of COVID being isolated, but at least I enjoyed a lot of bands around the globe that I never really would have an opportunity to see before. That was a
Yeah.
good experience.
Let's pick up on this. It's
on
a thing.
Twitch.
Twitch.com. It's got about, I don't know, 10 million, maybe a billion users. I'll check this in a minute. Gabby, you say you use it or you love it. Tell me about it. I don't know anything about it, but I'm open to it. What do you think of it?
So I like it more from the sense of a creator than a consumer. I haven't consumed there much, but I've heard of a lot of creators finding great communities there, especially because it's a subscription based platform. And so a lot of people are able to monetize a little bit easier there. And I think they find that very helpful. And then also because it's subscription based, it's easier to get in a pattern with your community. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool and in line with a lot of what we've been talking about, which is all of these community-based platforms like Go Brunch and some of the other ones that people mentioned. But I think it's really interesting that we have such a large enough space to where all of these platforms can serve different purposes.
Yeah. And
Right.
that's the fundamental reason I love Restream and this idea that if you do have a community on Twitch, in fact, I've had some people from Twitch comment here, um, you can reach a totally new audience. It has 26 million daily users. Right? That's 26 million people that use it every day that love it. And I'm guessing, as you said, Chris, most of those would be maybe 18 to 35, and that's a market. That's a very big market. So I don't know much about it, but you can definitely stream to Twitch on Restream. You can send it up to you can send it up to 30 places, one of which is Twitch. I don't think I have a graphic for that. It's only here lately LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. But you actually send your file to Twitch, don't you, Chris? Chris P.
Yeah, I do. And the reason I'm doing that is just to push a tiny back bit on what you just said about the 18 to 25. I would say 18 to like almost 40 crowd with Twitch because we're talking the Dave Portnoy crowd. We're talking the Pat McAfee show crowd here in America, like these guys who are like into WWE and all that. Like the bro culture here in America, like they're all big on Twitch and all that. You got like Ninja for the 30 somethings who's huge on gaming for Fortnite. So all that stuff, which is huge. That's all the way up like into like my age. I'm 40 and a couple years older than me, so like 45. So like the Aaron Rodgers, or I don't know if he's that old, but long and the short, that's a pretty big demo Twitch. It's a huge community space. That's exactly why I'm there.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, I mean, it's so cool. And if you've got spare capacity in your day, you can simply just join other things. What I've decided, and I really want to have this discussion. I really want to pick this out. There's only one of me. I am myself. I am my brand. I do everything myself. That's my brand. I like to be a bit of a sort of a hands-on person. I have a Discord community. Discord is, in a way, my version um, of Twitch. It's not exactly the same, of course, but similar age group. Discord has 150 million users. Like, it's a robust community, similar to Twitch in a way for that reason. I actually love Blue Sky. I have a Blue Sky account, 30 million users. So you can't do everything, but pick your battles. And I've decided my plan Bs are Discord and Blue Sky. That's where I've decided to put my energy. But you can indeed send it to Twitch. You can indeed send it to the others. I just love this idea of Plan Bs. I'm just going to take a bit of a break. I think there's someone at the door. I better just go and check on that. But Chris, can you lead the discussion maybe for 5 minutes around the idea of what is your Plan B while I just go and make myself a
Yeah,
cup
no
of tea
problem.
and check check if I've got a delivery. I love deliveries. I love getting stuff off the internet, and I got something at the door, so I better just check that. But what is your Plan B? Let's give everyone a turn to talk about that.
Yeah, so my plan B is essentially everything that I'm building. I already had a miniature built-in Facebook and Instagram that I kind of, I had pruned it over the years, and I kind of hooked my Meta account back up the other day, and then you had sent me the Twitch link, And I got two of my best buddies from back home, the Patty brothers. They got me into Twitch years ago, not to just to watch. And I realized the power back then, and I see my two little nephews watching like Minecraft streaming, and I just see the power of how much these kids are watching. So I'm like, the most important thing for me in the world is education. And these little kids are watching nothing but like mindless stuff. So if we can get like cool educational, like fun stuff on there for them, like, hey man, cool, let's entertain the kids. Like we'll talk about gaming, we'll talk about AI, but we'll talk about it in like a cool like adult way and teach them something. Like that's kind of what I want to be there for. Who's the guy who's Mr. Beast? He's like the first billionaire from YouTube. Like if you can get like a Mr. Beast type thing for AI education for kids, like even if you get a small amount of revenue from that, like that guy's doing 1 billion. Like, hey, if I got a couple $1,000 a month doing that, why the heck not? That'd be a lot of fun. So I mean, I don't know. I'll toss it to William or what do you think? What do you think you would do in it with this?
As a plan B.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
what are you using for a plan B?
Well, I'm broadcasting again to 3 different places. Um, and I believe what you mean by a plan B is if LinkedIn were to get rid of their live service, then where would I stream? Is that what we're talking about?
Correct. Like,
Okay.
not too long ago, we all thought TikTok was going away for a few days and
Yeah,
everybody was in a panic. So if you were to lose your main source, what do you have as a backup?
absolutely. So that's why I'm doing it on Facebook, Instagram, and then my YouTube account. And I also have a newsletter that I send out through LinkedIn, and it has a pretty powerful reach. So I can use my newsletter to actually still send out my message through LinkedIn about my events that are happening on other platforms. In addition to that, I have my own website. And because I have my own website and I publish a newsletter to that every day, that website has decent rankings because it's an everyday blog. So I'm currently doing a UBU live independent standalone blog and video um, website for myself. And then I'll actually have a page for UBU Live as a tab on my existing williamrochelle.com website.
Awesome. So, first of all, we sounds like me and you have a lot in common between newsletters, websites, and everything else. So, first and foremost, we got to have a discussion offline as to whether or not we're clones of each other. But I also want to, I want to get Gabby involved in this discussion as well, and see what you're doing for Plan Bs or how many plans do you have? I mean, I've got like plans A through C and D and E. So, how about you? How are you handling backup situations?
Yeah, so frankly, I'm a little earlier in the journey than I think a lot of other people on this call are, but I am approaching it very strategically. I really want to do what I've been reading about in certain books and other aspects where you create a sticky ecosystem and where if someone follows you on one platform, they're also incentivized to follow you on another platform and kind of keep up with the journey as a whole. And so I've been trying to think through that and really, I guess, figure out the operations side of all of that without overwhelming myself or my audience members.
All right. So you're
Love it.
trying not to overload them. I love that.
You
I
mentioned the
feel like
key phrase sticky, Gabby. Tell us what's the secret of creating a sticky community? People that love what you do and come back. This is the big one. How do you create a sticky community?
You know, Keith, when you find out, let me know. I think I'm still trying to figure that out. What I have found a little bit of success in though is I just tend to go to the same well, I'll say this first. I find a lot of success in the physical world and I'm trying to translate it into the digital world. So, for instance, I go to a lot of the same networking events and end up seeing the same people. And I think that kind of creates a compounding effect within my network because it builds trust. Because it's like, oh, I've seen this person at this event, and that event. And we've talked and had great conversations every time. And so I kind of want to create something similar with my digital presence. But again, thinking that through is kind of, again, and without overwhelming everyone involved, is I guess a little slow.
No, it's very, very important. I mean, I sort of do the reverse, but let's pick up on what you do. This is a very cool strategy. You love the real world events, and that is a functioning strategy unto itself. But it has also occurred to you, could you do something similar in the online world? The advantage there is that you tap into some random Aussie on the other side of the world that you've never met, and you've never been to his town, and I've never been to your town. So we may never have met. So that's the first thing. You have these really diverse, rich conversations you wouldn't have otherwise. That's the first reason to do digital. Second of all, you just have access to all these people all around the world. And third, it's just something different because you said, and I would find this annoying, you go to these network events. Oh, there's Bill. Yeah, we were there. You were there yesterday, weren't you? Yep. And there's Tim, and Tim was there last week. And there's Gabby. She comes to everything, and I'm just having the same conversation every time. I love the richness of saying, you know what, we've never met. How you doing? What's your thing? How can I help you? Wow, you're
That
doing that.
that's that was kind of my philosophy with not knowing anyone that I invited as my co-host. Um, we've never had conversations before. Uh, and the first meeting that we had, like I'll invite you as a co-host. Like I'll invite Chris as a co-host, let's say for Sunday. But Chris and I won't have a conversation outside of this until we talk on my show. And then when we talk on my show, then it's a get to know you session.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot of fun.
I love the visuals. But what I'd love to hear, Gabby, and let's pick up on this because I don't do this very much. COVID really changed my whole mindset, and I'm not sure it was a bad thing. I just have changed completely since COVID. So for 2 years we couldn't leave the house. It was illegal. There was a $200 fine if you were outside the house. Cops on every corner, drones in the air. Very oppressive. And we thought, okay, well, we can't leave the house. Let's just run with that. I can't do it. Let's just get used to it. For 2 years, we did everything inside for 23 hours a day. Just completely changed my DNA. And I'm not sure I want to go back to 2019. But Gabby, you say you do a lot of in-person events. What do you love about them? And let's have this discussion. How do they differ from the online world? What do you love about online events?
Sure. So I love online events too. I just have found that, like you said, since COVID and that oppressive nature of having to stay inside all the time, I really can appreciate just going outside and interacting with people in person. Especially, I love meeting new people, and I really find that fun. But I will say, I think the part that I brought up about seeing people that I've seen before adds a level of comfort because when you're going to all these new networking events and you're in a room full of new people, it can be a little, it can just be a little, I guess, daunting in a way. But when you at least have a few people there that you know before, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I can get kind of started and get my feet wet. And then it's also nice because then there's the networking effect of, oh, this person knows this person. Oh, let me introduce you to them. And then I can kind of connect people from there. And it's very easy to do in person. Now, I will say how that translates digitally is I'll meet someone at an in person networking event, and then they'll be like, hey, I know someone that you should know. Let me introduce you on LinkedIn. That has happened to me several times. And then I've also done that for other people where I'm like, hey, let me introduce you to someone that you know on LinkedIn. So in a way, I think our physical and digital worlds are really kind of converging. And I
They
think,
are intertwined, aren't they? They're definitely intertwined.
yeah, yeah. And the more we intertwine them and accept that, I think that is really helpful for everybody.
Familiarity breeds familiarity. That is pretty funny. I'm not a big fan of in-person events. I just find them a bit overwhelming, me personally. And since I've discovered, because I didn't know, since I discovered all this glorious stuff about online events, I can't bring myself to go to them. I just can't bring myself to go to an in-person networking events because I don't enjoy them, and I enjoy the other format so much more. So I never go anymore. But I'm very interested in this discussion. The discussion we're having is digital events versus in-person events. I want to have this discussion. Let's have this
So
discussion. What do you think? Yeah, you go
I like
first.
this question. What do you hate about in-person events? I'm curious. Or what do you find overwhelming about them?
Yeah, okay. There's a couple of things. One is we live an hour from the city, right? And then most networking events are in the city. So there's the getting there. And I want to give you a really cool example that demonstrates exactly what I feel because I used to be a speaker. Someone can you come and speak at my event? I'm going to promote it, and this is going to be, we're opening this new event center, and I want you to come and speak about what you do, and you do us a favor and speak for free, and just do me a favor. All right, no worries. Got nothing to do that night. Had a shave, bought a shirt, went into the city. Took me an hour to get there. I got to this new event center, which looked bloody brilliant. There was 9 people in the room. Right? I thought, oh, well, geez, you didn't promote it very well. But that's all right. I'll speak to the 9 people that are there. And I spoke to them, and they were nice, and I shook their hand afterwards, and we exchanged business cards. And then went home, and that whole experience took me about 4 hours of my life. Wasn't a particularly pleasant night, and it sucked up 4 hours of my life. The next day, I spoke to on a radio show in America, and we had 1,800 people listening live. I did the exact same spiel. I spoke for 1 hour. I turned out 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after it I was finished. I got the recording. I spoke to 1,800 people. Many of them connected with me on LinkedIn. Same content. Took me 1/4 of the time, had 200 times more benefit to me. When that happened, which is pre-COVID, it just completely changed my view of in-person events. I don't like doing them, and they don't work for me. I do these online events. I love doing them, and because I love doing them, they work for me. It might be a sort of a thing, but it's for me. It's the whole rigmarole of getting dressed up and walking to the station and getting on the train and going to the train station and getting to the city, and then navigating the city. Melbourne's got 6 million people, and then getting home on a crowded train at night, and then getting home and thinking, oh, I've been away 4 hours. It doesn't energize me. It actually depletes me. And I think if it really depends on what you feel when you're there. I don't find them exciting. I find them depleting, a hassle. I'd much rather actually mow the lawn, to be honest. That really tells you everything, because that's second last on a list of very long things. But going to in-person networking events is right down the bottom. Right down the bottom. The other ones would be mowing the lawn, doing the dishes, doing my tax, and other things of equal nature. But what do you think? Let's have this discussion. What do you think? Are in-person events better, or are online events better? Do you do a bit of both? Do you have a definite preference? You've clearly got a definite preference, or at least a leaning towards in-person events, Gabby. I honour that. That's great for you. Doesn't work for me. What do you think, William? Do you have a similar story to tell?
I'm good with either. I feed off the energy of people. So at an in-person event, if the energy is great, I'm actually better. And if I feel that the people are engaged and they're looking at me and they're not on their phones, then I can just blow them away. One of the reasons why you and I differ with me liking the video is because I'm feeding off of the reactions of the people that I'm speaking to. So I can tell through their facial expressions whether or not what I said just disturbed them or if they're like in agreement with what I'm saying. So I I I can do either. Um, but I do prefer to be able to see someone's expressions, their body language, all that stuff.
Oh, okay. So you like video because you like to see them.
Yeah, I like to know who I'm talking to. I like to know
Mm.
if I'm talking to someone, have they stepped away? Are they in the bathroom right now? Are they following along? Are they working on something else? Or are they looking directly at me and they are fully into the conversation that we're having?
You know, this is a very interesting discussion. I've often talked to people. I don't understand this myself personally, but I respect it. Some people need to see people. I always thought that the idea of video was that people need to be seen. I just assumed that. Why are you doing this? Because you need people to see you. It never, ever, ever, and it never would have occurred to me that people need to see other people. I don't
Yeah,
have that need or that I don't have that gene, but hearing you say it very articulately makes me understand why people do it. I don't need to see you, but
So
you possibly need to see me.
yeah, yeah.
so I love that. And I think I'm in between the middle of both of you because I I'm with you, Keith. I don't necessarily have to see people, but in person events, I do feed off of that energy. Over video, it doesn't have the same effect for me. So something like this format for me digitally is lovely, absolutely amazing. I don't have to be seen, but I can be heard when I want to. Whereas I in person, I do appreciate when I meet someone where it's like, oh, we have all these same commonalities and interests, and you can feed off of that energy. I just can't feel the same energy through the computer. So I'm like, it's okay. The camera can be off.
I'll use an analogy with shopping. This might actually clearly articulate. I think this actually makes a lot of sense. When I go shopping, I want the stuff. I don't want the experience of shopping. I don't want to have to worry about parking, and I don't get a joy out of picking things off the shelf or trying them on or talking to the agent. I want the stuff. I go shopping because I need things. That's why online shopping is so cool. I get the things. I don't have to go shopping. Right. So online events for me are exactly like online shopping. I want to have a chat. I don't need to see you. I don't want to get on the train. I don't want to dress up. I don't want to have to navigate the crowd to get to the venue. I don't have to find a park if I'm going to drive. I don't have to navigate the crowd while I'm there trying to find the people that have a synergy. Yeah. So I remember once I went to my sister's christening of a third child. She goes, "Oh, there's going to be 150 people here, Keith." And I said, "Oh, look, can you give me a top 10? Can you just scour your brain and say, look, here's 10 people I think you might connect with. I don't want to just rock up to some random person saying, you know what, I've got 3 kids and they're in school. And do you have kids? No, I don't have kids. You got any pets? No, I don't have any pets. Can we talk about something else, please?" And so she said, "Look, here's 10 people that I think you might get along with. This guy's got his own company, he works in IT. This guy's a pretty cool dude. He used to play rugby for Australia. Here's a guy that was, opening batsman for the state of Queensland. Here's a guy you might like. Here's a girl that's pretty interesting. She does web design." Right? Good. Good. I had a list. And she was very offended that I asked her for this. And I remember thinking, look, I really don't want to wade through. Guess what? I've got a 4-year-old. She's so cute. She's so cute. Here's a picture of our 4-year-old's birthday party, and it was a pink cake, and she was dressed up in a tutu, and we had a panda. And I'm thinking, ooh, I'm really trying hard to sound interested in that because you're a friend of my sister, and I love my sister, and I want to be your friend, but I got to be honest, I'm not really into pink tutus and pink dresses and pandas. And maybe I'm just really selfish, but I'm not very good at the small talk bit. I just want the stuff. Yeah. And because I just realized that I don't need to be with people to get the stuff, I don't honor that part of it. In fact, to me, that's annoying. Oh no, I've got to wade through 100 people to find that web designer girl. Where's the web designer girl? Let's just go straight line to the web designer girl. Because then I've got something to talk to about. What blog post do you use? What are you using? WordPress? Are you using Wix? I got something in common. That's why I don't like in-person events. I don't like the middle bit. What do you do? Well, I'm a dog walker. Oh, wow, great. That's how many dogs do you walk? Oh, 6 at a time, $10 a day. Not bad. Good hobby. Do you got dogs? No, don't have dogs. What else do you do? Well, I got a baby. She's 4. She looks really cool in a pink tutu. We had a panda. I'm exaggerating to make a point, Gabby and William, but how do you get past all that small talk guff to get to the meat? Or is that not the point? What do you think? Am I ranting now, or do you get me? Do you understand what my positioning?
I think you're missing out on something, Keith, that you're not considering. And that's kind of that you accidentally fell plump into a perfect life that you don't really want to leave where you're at. You are on a beach in Australia, in a beautiful area. You've got a great wife. You're happy with your gadgets, your land, doing your thing, talking to people all around the world. Why would you go anywhere? I'm a sales rep. I'm a single guy. I want to go out and have fun and meet people. I'm on the beach too, but like, for me, like I want to go out there and get in front of people. Just like William was saying, I want to read people's reactions. I want to see people's emotions. I want to see how people are reacting to me. When I'm up here on stage, I have no idea if I'm coming off like, too aggressive or too whatever to the crowd. And it's like, if I could see the reactions, I can adjust how I am up here in my stage presence. In person, I do it all the time. Up here, it's really difficult. And you get messages all the time. Why are you acting like that tonight? It's like, got to know the backstory. And it's like,
Yeah.
so I
Look,
love that. I
I
love
really
the in
want to pick
person.
this up. I mean, I went on a bit of a rant because yesterday, it was actually last week, I talked about this idea that I and many guys that I know hate shopping. We want the stuff, right? When I go shopping, I want to buy things. I don't want to have a look at things. I want to buy them. I want to go. I want to know what I'm doing. I want to buy them. I want to pay. I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to come home and have dinner or put the cricket on. But I don't want to walk around a shop and go, oh, well, that we could use that. That looks pretty. What do you think of that? Well, I don't really have an opinion, to be honest. I mean, if you're asking me, I probably wouldn't mind it. Or are you thinking of buying one? Let's get it. No, I'm just thinking, just having a thought. Well, what are you thinking about? Are you going to buy it or not? No, I'm just thinking. Just something to do on a Saturday afternoon. Wow, geez, there's 100 other things I'd rather be doing than walking around a shop on a Saturday afternoon. But we are married and we've been together 35 years, so I'll come with you. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Do you love shopping, William? Do you have this sort of let's get the stuff moment, or do you don't mind walking around just having a look?
I have an ex-wife and 2 daughters, and I hate going shopping with them. And hold on for a second. I hate going shopping with them because they want to dig through all the sections, and no, I don't like doing that. That's not my jam. I walk into some place, I know exactly what I want, I grab it, I walk out, I'm done. Um, but I've also told them, go ahead, go by yourself. I mean, I'm fine with that too. I don't need to be a part of it. So, you need to live your life what's best for you.
Yeah, there's no wrong or right answer, and that's why I love what you're doing. Like, we are still friends, even if you really love online shopping or person events. But we don't, that doesn't happen. That's not why we're friends. But what I'm really trying to understand is that I think they're related. In-person events, in-person shopping, for me have the same vibe. I'd rather be doing something else. What are we doing here? Can we go? Can we go, please? Are we there yet? Whereas with online events, I'm here. I get the goss. We're talking. Hours pass seamlessly. We can be doing other things technically, like I can check the door to wait for a parcel. I can make a cup of tea. I don't have to get dressed up. I don't have to go into the city. I don't have to have those uncomfortable conversations about pink pandas and tutu dresses. But there's both sides. Am I talking out of school, Gabby, or do you know people that like me that sort of hate the in person thing?
So honestly, I get both sides. Sometimes I hate the in person thing too. And when you really broke down the numbers of you spent 4 hours doing one thing that didn't feel that fulfilling versus an hour doing something that felt a lot more fulfilling, it makes a lot of sense. I think it just depends on the event and being strategic about where you go. Because I will say, I've been to some in person networking events where I'm like, oh, this was draining, this was terrible. But then I'll go to some where I end up meeting just a few people. Like if I end up meeting just one person that I really, really connect with, I feel like that event was worth it overall. And so it really just depends on the event and how interactive it is and things of that nature, I think. And that's for digital or physical.
Yeah, I think this is important because, there's 8 billion people on the planet. 1 billion of them are on LinkedIn. 250 million of them live in the US. There's plenty of room. There's plenty of people around. There's no need to go into the city if it's not your thing. There's no need to hang out online if you'd rather go to the city, unless you don't live in a city. So there's lots to this, which I love. What I will do is I'll do a bit of a recap. We've been chatting about 2.5 hours, so I'll just do a bit of a recap. We can have up to 10 people on the stage, so we're not finished yet. If you want to come up, we can have up to 10 people. We can keep this show going. But what this show was and is still is Restream for beginners. We talked a lot about a lot of other sites in passing, but really, I'm really very, very, very excited about Restream. I think it's a good product. I think it's worthy of your time. It's got a very robust free version. I really like it, and we can restream to lots and lots of different places. And we have this very, 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 very cool camera off feature now, which I love. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give everyone a chance to wrap up, and then I'll just go and play some music and fade into the sunset. And then I'll go and make myself some lunch and get ready for wifey coming home, and we'll have some dinner together. But what do you think, Gabby? What are the main things? You've been our special guest today for the first time. What are you thinking about Restream and this idea of online events? Is it something you've considered doing for your brand?
Oh, definitely. I've actually thought of having kind of a podcast similar to this format and only holding it pretty much on LinkedIn or on something like a Restream or a Go Brunch where we just meet there and everyone's able to hear it. And then, as we discussed earlier, we can have AI redistribute and re-edit some of the video. So I really appreciated this format, and we had some really, really great conversations as well.
Yeah, I love the internationality of it. The idea that I'm in Melbourne, Australia, and just a random guy on the internet having a show with all these cool people from around the world. What about you, William? What are your thoughts on this? You use StreamYard, which we can say in passing, but
Yes.
what do you think of this format using Restream? It looks very similar, doesn't it?
It does. It does. But again, my preference is to see my audience. But this is a great format, and one of the things that makes it great, Keith, is because you keep pulling people back in. And someone like me that has ADD, I'll start doing 3 things while you're talking, and really you're talking and I'm listening in the background. But the way that you keep pulling people back in, it makes you have to focus on the conversation.
Yeah, and I don't know if you notice this, but I always give you like this lag time. And what about you, William? And then you hear your
Right.
name and you go, William, what do you mean? What do you need? And then I'll
Well,
ask this question. And then I'll
yeah.
take my time to ask it so that you've first of all got a chance to find the mic and then you've got a chance to interpret the question.
So that and the fact that a lot of times when I'm not speaking a lot, I will mute my mic because you have very sensitive ears and do not like to hear background noise. So I try to respect that. And so sometimes when you call me, I'm like, where's my unmute? Where's my unmute?
Sometimes play that out a bit much. And I realize that's a bit of a sort of a habit, but I'm really proud of my moderation skills, really proud. And
Yeah, it's good.
I love doing this show. I love the idea that we can have 10 people on the call at any one time, and that what I can do here is bring people in on the call anytime. What I'm also doing, if you don't know this, is I'm doing some screenshots in the background. Please do those for yourself and for me if you like. So everyone that's been on the call, I've tried to have a shot of them in the frame that we can use for marketing, or that's going to be something we'll do moving forward. And also, Chris has had some shots or some insights into how to make videos out of that. So, what are your takeaways, Chris, from this? We've covered a lot of ground. We've been chatting almost 3 hours now. What's your takeaways here?
My biggest takeaway was what you just said. I'm watching my notification stream explode from the 5 clips I put out there already. I did one for me, for you, for Amalia, for myself, for Scott Holderson, and I'm going to put one together for Michael LeBlanc and a few other people who are in the audience who have joined us on these shows, and post them out. So, and just tag them in it. Um, just as a thank you for appearing on the show, and then something like you just said that they can use for their own media. They could put it in their featured section. Just a way to always feel like, hey, this was something we were always a part of. And this is something we're all going to grow together. So this is like, it's just a fun way to just show everybody, hey, we're all part of the same community. Let's grow it. Let's explode it.
I
Let's
actually
build
think
something.
that's the
That's all.
secret sauce. I don't know if everyone else is doing this, but I've done a lot of podcasts, and a lot of people come on my show and they say, "Oh, mate, I'm the guest. I just come on the show." Yeah, are you going to promote it? Nah, I'm not going to promote it. Are you going to knock it up and make things? Nah, no, mate. I am the guest. You are lucky to have me, and I'm going to share what I know, and that will be your prize. Yeah, well, okay. Well, are you going to share it with your friends? Are you going to do anything? Nah, and that really pisses me off. Like, everyone's come on my show. You've done me a favor. I'm going to return that favor. I've sent you a screenshot. Chris is going to do some videos, maybe. Someone will turn it into a blog post. We all need to keep this energy moving. We've had one show together, but we've got screenshots and videos and blog posts and transcripts, and we can just keep this going if we want. Even if the only point of that is to move it to the next show and say, tomorrow I'm on Discord. Next week, I'm trying this really cool site called EV Mux. That's the show we did on EV Mux had 54,000 impressions. I want to see if that's a fluke. Was that just a once off? I'm going to try and do it again. And so, please come to my show on Discord. It's tomorrow. Please join me on Blue Sky. But most importantly, I do 3 shows a week now. And if you want to join my mailing list to pick up on this idea, and this is a very good lead for you, Gabby, I want to pick up on this. I use a site called Luma, lu.ma. Now, because I'm doing a lot of content, someone said to me, Keith, where are you today? That was the exact quote. That was the exact question. Where is Keith today? Right. I said, well, actually, that is such a great name for a URL. I bought it. Whereiskeithtoday.com. I love the URL so much, I bought it. And I put all of my eggs in one basket here, in the sense that all of my shows are listed on one URL in one place. And I've got shows all the way through to the end of April. So if you want to know any of these other shows that are doing, you'll get an email the day before, and an email an hour before. Luma does that automatically as part of its system. It's so good. This is, you were talking about a CRM, or you're talking about managing a CRM. Luma is gold. There is a paid version which is quite expensive, but the free version is very robust. I've got all my shows listed until the end of April, 3 shows a week for like 12 weeks, whatever that is. I can't do the math on live on air. And they're all there. They're all listed. You can register. You get a confirmation. You get an email the day before. And I get a message that you've joined. And so I know how to reach out to you and say, hey, please come. Here's the link. Bloody genius. Have you heard of this, Gabby? Have you got a CRM to sort of get your leads going?
So as of right now, I don't have a specific CRM. I have heard of Luma, mostly on the event coordination side. One of the organizations I'm affiliated with uses Luma very often for their events, and I do like the interface and how it does remind you before events and stuff like that. So I know what you're talking about there, but I hadn't thought about using it as a CRM. So I am kind of intrigued by this.
Yeah, well, let me pick up. This is very, very important. Right. So when anyone signs up for an individual event, they go on a list of people that have signed up for one event, just one time. Right. And on that list, I'm proud to say I've got 182 people that have signed up for at least one event in the last 12 months. Now, those people on that list have registered of their own volition to come to my event. So I figured if I send them an email to say, hey, just to remind you, got a couple of other events coming up you might want to come to. Here they are listed out. Click the link and sign up. I don't mind that. It's not spam because they've signed up. They signed up of their own volition. And then there's a little unsubscribe button at the bottom. Keith, stop sending me these emails. Click. I don't mind. What also happens, and this is where the CRM comes in, if you want a list of every event I'm doing, click this button. Where is Keith today? And 82 people have signed up for that component of Luma. So I know they're dedicated. They want the information because they've signed up for the list. So when I send an email out, I get very few unsubscribes because people go, well, this is cool. Of course, I want to know what's going on. You've got 3 shows coming up. I'll come. I want to come. Thanks for letting me know. It's not spam. So I've got 182 people that have signed up for one event. And of those, 82 of them have said, mate, I want to sign up for every event. Let me know. Send me an email. I'm onto it. And you can do that at Where is Keith Today? Click a button and you're in. Bloody genius. Costs you nothing. And these people are active and engaged. This might be a good solution for you, Gabby. Costs you nothing. It's very easy to set up. Go and have a look at it and you'll see what I mean. I love it.
I definitely will. And I must say also, I love the Where is Keith Today thing because people kind of ask me something similar like, oh, where have you been? Or I've seen you've been everywhere. So I love that.
It's quite clever. I thought that was good. It wasn't my idea, but I thought it was clever that I went and got the URL. Do you have a CRM, William? Do you honor the idea of an email list and sending out little updates?
So my newsletter gets sent to all of my followers, and I do it every day. And I have about 11% open rate, and I've had 2 million reads in the past 365 days. So that's pretty robust. And for my shows, I do an event post just to everyone on LinkedIn. But the day before and then the day of, I do a special newsletter announcing it and highlighting my guest speakers, my co-hosts.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes out to my 30,000 followers. And, hopefully we'll see how this will be episode 3 this Sunday.
It's an ongoing process, isn't it? We're all growing together, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did create a link to it, and I don't want to overstep. I know that you said you wanted to join. Did you want me to put the link in the chat here, or private?
Put it in the chat, and I'll put it in the chat. I'll bring it up on stage. That's pretty cool. So put it in the chat. Do you have a CRM? Actually, put it in the. I'll do it. I'll copy that and put it in the chat for you. You have a really lovely newsletter, Chris. Do you want to tell us about that and how people can join and how it's going?
Yeah, so I write a newsletter called Sales Pulse Medical Trends, and I started this just back in April of this past year. I've worked in pharmaceuticals and med devices for forever, and I've also been a fan of quantum physics and history and yada yada yada. It's been labeled a polymath essentially, but I hate that title. I think it's kind of a weird name, but anyway, I write about it for I pull from so many different concepts when I write, and I'm a bit of a futurist, so I try to just imagine what the future of healthcare is going to look like based off of what's going on in groundbreaking physics. So I've been writing about this. I reached out to a gentleman by the name of Marcus Beaufort with this organization, Titan Space, and they're trying to build a space plane. And so I just asked him a question about, hey, how's this going to relate to healthcare in the future? And he's like, study French fry oil in space. It makes a weird bubble. And I'm like, what's that mean? So I just started Googling, and the next thing you know, I'm writing articles on like how they're going to grow, moon bases with mushrooms in the future. So that's like my newsletter is pretty wild. It covers everything from cybersecurity to AI to healthcare to sometimes my views on what's going on in the world. But I targeted it specifically to about 1,800 of some of the most influential people in the world, in finance, in the medical field, in industry, in logistics, uh, in the intelligence agencies. So God, they're got a really close eye on me. um, but anyway, I'm able to send messages to really, really important people, 2,500 at a time right now. But it's really fun, and I get to be myself in it. I've turned it into something that's a bit more authentic to me in the past couple of weeks, but I'm going to keep it as much as I can, mostly med tech focused and AI focused for the future. It's a lot of fun to write.
I love it. I love it. Now we've covered a lot of ground. This show essentially has been called Restream for All Beginners. Hopefully, you've had a really good look at what Restream can do, and a couple of other products that work in concert with it, so that you can really start managing your show. This replay will be available as soon as I push stop, and I will find a way over time to make little snippets of it. And we do 3 shows a week, so there's plenty of stuff to keep going. I'm going to play some very professional music and run you through all the slides we've done. I want to thank our guests for coming on the show. I'm having a lot of fun doing this show. I love it. I love doing it. I'm just finding my little soundtrack, my theme song, if you like. And then I'm going to play a little bit of music, run you through the slides, and please join in for all of the upcoming shows. But until then, we'll see you later. You've been listening to Where Is Keith Today.com on Restream.
Wow. Wow.